seen him.
You've
You've
seen
played
him.
against him
Yeah.
in the qualifiers. You know what he wants to play, and because of that, it's not the most difficult job for Solo to draft. But he doesn't have that freedom like he had with the old boys, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't have like I know your soul, Ramses. Like I can pick exactly what I know that fits you.
Yeah, we go back to that old Virtus Pro versus new Virtus Pro. I don't think Solo still believes in this team as he did in the previous one. At least that's the feeling that I get. I also don't think they're as versatile as some of the
can pick
former players.
Exactly what I know that fits you.
Rezo, I'm not sure if he's adapted the off lane completely. He had a long period of time to do so. So I think they need to draft more around him, like give him a good matchup.
He's very open about his performance and how he also can see that it's not yet where it should be. But you're right, he's had quite some time to adapt to that offlane role. The question is, how much more time is he gonna need in order to be that top tier offlaner that his team needs him to be? Now that being said, the final game that he played on, what was it, Thursday, like 2 days ago against Gambit, where he was Beastmaster, he absolutely crushed it. Like, he nailed it.
It's easy to look good in the games when you're winning, but
Fair.
what do you
fair point.
learn from the games that you're losing? And if you look like the weakest, like I don't want to go too hard on Rezo because he had some good performances, the one that you mentioned as well. And they also swapped the players, so if these players didn't play well, you're also gonna look bad. So it could also be one of the issues.
He's had the luck of playing as well with Epileptic Kid and Say while he was learning his role. So the whole CIS community kind of went a little bit easy on him. Resolution, he's usually very loved
Yeah.
in the scene
Yeah.
too. He has a bunch of fans, and everyone was literally just constantly flaming Epileptic Kid and Save on their forums, in their interviews. So Rezo kind of dodged the bullet there, but it's time definitely to show up to play as a tier 1 player on that offlane,
Yeah.
which Virtus Pro should be.
With that mentioning, though, I mean, when you're swapping your position 4 and your position 1, it really also changes the dynamic of what you are expected to do as an offlaner. So he was learning an offlane role with a different core that might be either a little bit more greedy or less greedy compared to Kuman, and with a different position 4 that might have helped a little bit more or less on that offlane compared to Zayat. That's like, you have to be able to adapt to that, of course, as well. So for him, swapping those two players around as well, it will.
not easy.
It is not easy, and it
It's
will take some extra time on top of the time that he already needed.
It's also hard to play an offlane if your position 4 hero pool is limited, which I thought was a problem in the older version of the Virtus Pro. Like, even no one looked bad, and this dude is a beast. Like, if you watch his Shadow Fiend, he can make this hero look like a first pick material.
Yeah. And then we just had everybody of Secret on your screens, and you know, we talk about Secret a lot because they keep doing really well, and we keep talking about why they're good, how they're good, who's the best, who makes the moves and stuff. And if you want, like, where do you want to try and analyze this game? Because there is, first of all, there's not that much data to go off of because they do so well that they always, or recently are always in the upper bracket, so there's not that much data to go off of.
The first thing that I would like to see from Virtus Pro from Solo is banning out Monkey King. I really would love to see that. Did he do it?
He did not do
He
it.
did not. All right. Timbersaw as well. Very fearsome. One of the highest win rates right now in
It's a
this tournament.
Snapfire first pick as well. Different.
Slardar as well. Super high win rate at the moment. Enchantress kind of goes in the same way. Nyx, Batrider also. Nyx, just a beast of a hero. And Oracle ban is probably the most interesting one for me
10
from Team
seconds
Secret.
remaining.
We have not yet seen
5
Team Secret play
seconds remaining.
Snapfire this tournament.
It's already
Throws
covered
turn
by
to
Nyx
pick.
Assassin, and this Treant pick you probably know, right?
Yeah,
Zayat.
Zayat
on
3,
position
yeah.
Or 3, and he does so much. Even though they swap it sometimes to position 5 if needed, and Solo plays it. We did not see too much out of Treant Protector. I still, this hero can't do much, especially if you have like heroes who can play
10
aggressive
seconds
on
remaining.
the other lanes and have this global presence from the living
5
armor.
seconds
Like, what
remaining.
happened actually to Treant? He was borderline broken,
I think
if not
one
broken.
of the
And
one of
then
the problems was this Enchantress, who is extremely popular. So with the Dispel, this is the ability that removes the living armor. It's great against Darkseer, removes Ion Shell and Surge.
versus
Pure
many
damage.
heroes.
Yeah.
Versus many heroes, she's great, yeah. Nyx Assassin also that's banned out from Secret is a cover ban for Snapfire, not only for Snapfire, because there's many heroes that Nyx counters, but that Carapace just destroys Mortimer's Kiss. They went with the Treant and Leshrac. Now, this gives you some cover for that Lesh. You have the living armor, you have the ultimate to work with as well. What's pretty good about Overgrowth plus heroes such as Lash is that it forces defensive items. If you can force out that BKB early in the fight with your position 5,
Yeah.
then that Leshrac can juke out the first, let's say, 7-8 seconds of the fight and then join later to dish out that desired damage.
I love the approach from Virtus.pro. I said they don't pick versatile heroes. Now they pick Treant Protector, who can be played at 4 or 5. Lashrac, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He can be played at pretty much every single role, so they're not revealing anything.
But we are expecting this Treant to be played by Zad.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about 3, you're thinking about that player. Almost
First thing
all the
that comes
but-
to my mind, yeah.
But they can play it on 5 more.
They can.
Seconds remaining.
Better yet, so far, I mean, they did play it twice so far this tournament, both times against Nigma, and the time that they won with it, it was 5, and when they lost, it was actually Zyos playing it as a 4. I am surprised to see Chen
Secrets
ignored
turn
on the
to
side
ban.
of Secret.
Yeah, Puppy completely ignoring that.
I'm assuming it is going to be Snapfire on the 5, though. I mean, that is
I have
so far the best position for her.
I think so too. I have seen a couple of games with position 4 Snapfire, but it just feels like one of those heroes that does the same 5 or 4, so better put it on 5. That
You want to give
10
farm priority to
seconds
someone
remaining.
else for sure,
Yeah.
instead of a Snapfire.
the only
Also,
5
this Slash, I
seconds
think,
remaining.
blocks the Meepo pick, which always works well for Team Secret. The AoE damage.
listen, they picked
shut him
Meepo.
down.
They picked Meepo into Elder Titan and into Timber, so I don't think they're super afraid of a Lash. Not too much at least, but it is definitely a good AoE hero versus him. Let's go, the next ban. They ban out Rubik, and now Rubik is an interesting ban because the hero is definitely strong on paper. The laning stage is great. Later on in the game, he's also good. He can steal so many spells, so many stuns. Doesn't have the highest win rate so far in the tournament, I believe.
No, and I'm well, somewhat surprised. Normally, Rubik is played as the position 4, and we've just been talking about how we expect /want Treant to be the position 4. So maybe a little bit more revealing there from Secret of what they want to pick. Like, what would you pick if you like? Why would you ban Rubik if you're gonna like? Wow.
They
English.
might
Yeah.
go back.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they might go back to one strat from Nigma's book, and that's pick
Turn to
Io
ban.
with the Tiny and just play it extremely fast with no cooldowns.
There's also a possibility to go for something like an Enigma, right? Yapzor Enigma isn't really that weird. You also have combo with the Snapfire. You banned out Rubik, so you don't have that hero that can steal the black hole.
Oh, the classic CIS Disruptor. Even when this hero was like extremely bad in terms of the skills that he had, Virtus.pro was still picking it.
Yeah.
Like it was pretty much only solo playing that hero.
And well, you're saying solo playing the hero. What would you rather have? A position 4
10
Disruptor
seconds remaining.
or a position 4 Treant? Like, which one do you want?
They're so similar, though. That's the
5
thing. They're so
seconds
similar in
remaining.
what they do on position 4 and 5. You don't really like either one of these heroes on position 4 that much. I think they're best at position 5. Basically, if you're Disruptor on 4, you go for that quick Yules. You have some setup as well. Then you can go for quicker Aghanims. If you're Treant, you can go for that Meteor Hammer earlier or Blink Dagger. But it's both of these heroes aren't exceptionally well on that position 4. So they can decide at the end of the draft which one suits them better.
It will be a Mars for Secret. Have we seen them play Mars
I don't think we-
recently?
Did we?
No, I don't think
Someone
so.
played Mars, but I'm not sure who. And they pick Naga Siren. Here's the combo. Oh man, this is such a deadly combo that they have on top of Treant Protector. So even if you like have a BKB, they can pop the Treant ulti
seconds
after
remaining.
it. So whew, Already looking good for Virtus Pro.
A lot of big ultis, and if you're Secret right now in these last two picks, you have to be thinking about heroes that either counter them with their big ultis or just play super fast. You need some heroes that, all right,
Okay.
all right,
Nisha Medusa.
that's not playing super fast, that's going for the late game to counter that Naga. They also have a combo of their own. You have the Mortimer's Kiss plus the Arena, which is pretty neat.
Also to keep people inside of the arena while Medusa's either using ulti or just attacking you. And with the built-in cleave, she deals well with the Naga Siren illusions. Mystic Snake is going to be super effective. Even though you are still playing against Naga Siren, who builds into Diffusal Blade, which is one of the best ways to deal against Medusa, just get rid of her mana.
It's not often that we see Secret save the pick for Matumaman as last. Do you guys feel that that is the case here in terms of who's playing what?
I think so. I think like a long time ago when I remember Nisha playing in Kinguin, even he was spamming that Medusa
That's
constantly,
his hero.
just carrying them with it. So I think it is, and it should be his Medusa. And we'll see Matumba Man probably something a little bit more active.
Monkey King is still in the
Monkey,
pool.
yeah, it's still there.
All right, let's see what VP thinks and see what they are going to ban out. That will be also a little bit more telling of where they are in their headspace right now. And what do they need for their last pick? It looks like they will need their no one hero. And they do get overall last pick, important to note. So they can already start preparing to either secure whatever they want to pick or just wait until they actually know 100% who's playing what so that they can just counterpick it.
I still feel like it's a good Shadowfin game for Virtus Pro. They have a lot of lockdown to set things up. He can fight even without ulti, but it's such a deadly combo. They ban out Kanka.
They ban out Kanka, and so they're expecting Medusa to go on a silent instead, it seems like. Which is
I mean, that
kinda
option
curious.
is still there.
Yeah. It's peculiar though. You'd rather have that Medusa mid so that she can stack those camps, farm them at the same time. The small medium camp plus the lane, do that constantly, get a couple of raid bans. Your network just skyrockets and you can join the fights earlier. That's pretty much how Medusa is played right now. But, all right.
Still, Virtus Pro has an option to switch last track to mid if needed.
Turn to pick.
So
And it can be played at off lane.
if you're Secret right now, you're worried. You
Huh?
can't pick something that's bad versus Lash, and you also have to think about their overall last pick.
I think it's going to be Medusa mid still, and Secret just banned out TA, so they think it's going to be a mid hero.
Yeah, I mean, TA is one of those heroes that definitely does do very well against Medusa. That's why they ban it. They go with the Bristle. All right, a different approach. Another tanky beast up front that's not gonna die in this big combo. They don't have a lot of save, but they're all very, very tanky.
Yeah, these heroes are so hard to kill. Bristleback, Medusa, once you get an
10
item or two
seconds
with the
remaining.
mana shield on. Mars also not that easy to take down.
One-
I mean, this is 4 strength heroes and 1 Agi, right? The only Agi being Medusa that's already tanky by nature with the mana pool. That being said, Naga Siren probably will get a diffusal, so it's crazy to think that Medusa at some point might be the most squishy hero on the map.
One thing that we can expect perhaps from Team Secret is a BKB on this Tiny. I can already see that being the only way to deal with the Disruptor Aghanims later on in the game if it comes to that. You can use that BKB on Tiny, move in, toss the target away from the Storm.
Talk to me about Viper. You got the break, but you will probably lane against Medusa. How does that matchup go?
It's good. It's very good for Viper. Early on, Medusa can't really do much. You can actually push her out of the lane. You have a built-in break for Medusa, for Bristleback as well. So even Mars, like it's a good Viper game. Also, the vision game from Virtus Pro is going to be extremely good, so glimpses will be effective. Naga illusions, scouting things out. You have Treant Protector, especially when he hits level 10. In terms of drafting, I'd say these are pretty even.
I like the Viper pick. The only problem that I can see with it is his supports don't rotate really well. Treant, it's difficult for him to approach Medusa from behind. The same can't be said for Tiny. It's super simple for Tiny to just roll in and toss the Viper onto the Medusa, and then all the advantage that you gained disappears.
All right, let's find out how tanky Team Secret can get here, or if Virtus.pro is able to take a game off of them in the first game of this upper bracket finals. It's over to Cap and Kyle.
Virtus.pro have been on a tear in this tournament, but they're going to meet the best team in the world right now. Team Secret is going to be putting Virtus.pro to the test. Kyle, do you think that the Virtus.pro can stand to this test?
That remains to be seen. They certainly have something. They're the team to prove it, right?
Yeah.
I think draft-wise, it certainly measures up, but I really like what Secret have. Just if you look at the concept that VP is going for, Disruptor as a hero just does nothing when the enemy cores are running at you, and that's going to be the issue here with Medusa and Bristleback able to frontline.
Yep, that is something that you've just got kind of a wall. Like, it never feels good glimpsing back at Dusa when she moves like, you know, maybe 500 distance or something like that, and then she's just like, okay, now what? Maybe she pops Stone Gaze. Then you definitely have to walk away from that. Yeah, I could definitely see how Secret's kind of slow roll is going to be hard for Virtus.pro. But VP, with their last pick of the Viper, did grab something that was a much like an earlier base timing hero that dismantles a lot of these passive abilities that they have, and may actually make some of these heroes squishy enough, fearful enough that the Disruptor is impactful.
My concern rather is just how the supports will scale in this game. The thing about Dusa and why it's so strong here is that you also are excellent against the Treant because you're a natural Manta buyer. In games where it's necessary, you can also go for a BKB. You don't really have anything. The supports won't be able to do anything to them. And even Viper, let's say the lane is just even. Like, there really isn't an answer to the Dusa. So you've got to be able to take map control. You need to kill these tier 1 towers and then get lanes going push. I will say I love Disruptor with heroes like Viper and Naga because you're going to be able to shove lanes aggressively, Naga illusions everywhere. You'll be able to find kills with those glimpses. As like the panel was talking about, these two supports provide a ton of vision. And if you're in a position to make plays, that is excellent. If you're not, well, it just feels bad for pretty much everyone involved.
Now, by picking up the by picking up the Viper, it does mean they're going to be running a 3-position Leshrac.
Yeah.
Obviously, Resolution is very familiar with this hero and such, but do you think this is actually good to have this 3 Lesh?
I think in this scenario, you're going to be just fine because you have a Disruptor up there. You're just both going to spam spells. It's not as if either. I mean, what is a core Bristle really going to do to pressure you too hard, right?
Sure.
And if there was a team that I'm happy seeing this more semi-core, I would prefer Rezo on 3s that shade towards 2 rather than the typical Zai, as an example, where he's more shaded towards a 4. It's a lot easier to play as an offlaner. Remember when Sumail swapped over and he was consistently just playing, even Quaps out in the offlane? Like,
sure.
He can play the same game he's used to, but from just starting in a different location. So,
like how they were drafting Lycan and Centaur initially for Ramses, right? Another good example of just kind of keeping a core player in their comfort zone. And, I really like watching Resolution play, but watching his off lane of the current iteration has not been great. Actually, his last run in offlane was not great either. So it's definitely seems to be still a learning process for both him and the team. That's a bit of the problem, right? It's not just one person that you could say that, is underperforming at times, VP as a whole. With their previous roster and Epileptic Kid and Save were not looking great either.
I have faith. I think they've definitely looked a lot better at this event than they have in the previous ones. They made it to the major. They're on the up. And that's going to be important for these guys, just building confidence moving forward. And this is what I mean by top lane, right? Puppey and Matumpa Man are just going to get spammed out. Both of these heroes can just buy sticks, and then Matumpa Man's just feeding more damage into his enemy's coffers. And as you can already see, no one playing very aggressive up on the hill. This is what you want to do is the Viper versus Dusa on that first level. And oh, wow, as I say that, Rezo is in so much trouble.
Yeah, Resolution got a little aggressive earlier and, put himself to be able to go get the range creep. And I think Matumpa Man took full advantage of that, getting a bunch of quill stacks.
I don't think they expected the Tiny to come out of the trees either. YapzOr with a really timely movement there. Did he start there or teleport up? I didn't have my eye on the minimap. And as you can see,
I think he started bottom, but...
Well, this is really cool. Yeah, if you are wondering what the lanes were, yes, Tiny did start bottom because his icon was down there with Zai. Safe to assume.
So YapzOr just with a tricky little maneuver, just kind of showing bottom lane, teeping up top. getting them the initial first blood because they know this lane is going to be hard. This is something that I feel like the Nigmas and Secrets of the world do differently than the other teams, is that they quickly identify how to be able to set up a laning phase configuration, figure out what the problems are, or, you know, I think Nigma last series was a really good show of identifying win conditions and shutting them down.
That's a good point. And, you know, later he'll probably have to move back towards bottom. For now, Zai's going to be just fine because it's Naga Tree. You know, level 3, level 4, it could perhaps be a threat, but for now, no big deal. Nisha, nice DD rune pickup. He'll just TP back to the mid tower. I don't think... you know, you might be tempted to like trade hits there, thinking, I've got a DD, I'll beat him, but I don't think he's going to win that one.
Yeah, with the Viper stacking up his Q, and then on top of that, no one could just play the high ground and have that advantage as well. Better for him to just TP in. Looks like our Naga Siren is having a free lane, though, against the Mars. Not too surprising, seeing as half the damage that comes out from a Mars is physical damage with the God's Rebuke. And a heavy, heavy high armor hero like Naga Siren isn't going to care too much about that. Oh, look at that group up. Looks like a toss over into an Avalanche is going to be able to secure the kill on a Resolution. And YapzOr, with his boots first build, is able to get in front of Zayats, kill the Courier, block in Zayats enough that Puppey should be enough. No, actually, the Living Armor plus the Fairy Fire and everything else will actually let Zayats live.
Yeah, but you get the Courier, you can see a little smirk on YapzOr's face. He's like, yeah, I guess I'll take that. Really nice movement, as always, from the... one of the more solid 4 players in the world, to be honest, especially when you consider how aggressive YapzOr plays, how effectively all of his heroes are playmakers. He just seems to be in the right place at the right time at all times, as Zai will be pressured. But as you can see, they're not really threatening kills. And yeah, his CS isn't great, but I mean, 9-2 is 10-2. Like, this isn't bad. He's keeping up with his Medusa, so.
Yeah, I think when good showing of... Oh. YapzOr set a trap here for Zayats, managed to find him all by himself in the triangle area, and does have a full combination. He's just trying to get as much damage in before he goes for it. The Living Armor, though,
I like that
knows
choice.
is out of range.
Yeah, you're not killing him. There's no reason to waste the spells, because instead he just runs top, and perhaps you can threaten Resolution. And that is going to be YapzOr's plan, it appears. Full wand already up on Rezo, as you can see. But this is why they're putting 3 heroes here. Because in a 2-on-2, you're going to just trade mana, and inevitably VP will win the exchange. But with 3, you can actually threaten kills, which is what's necessary. Just take this lane. Nisha recognizing, I don't want to be up against this Viper. I'll just go farm my camps. Maybe YapzOr even stacked those on his way up. I didn't actually see who got those off. But I like this because Viper can't actually kill YapzOr in the mid lane, so we'll be able to soak up some nice free XP. Just trying to get as much out of the map as possible on this dire side.
That's something special, right? Not only is it Nisha Medusa, which is his special, but on top of that, it's a dire side Medusa.
Yeah.
There's an inherent advantage for a Medusa, especially on dire side, right?
Oh, for sure, because early game you can take both of these camps simultaneously, and then later on you can just go farm your Ancients and the hard cap simultaneously. Radiant, there's a lot more travel time involved.
Yeah, nobody wants to be in the Radiant Ancient area part of the map. There's nothing else there.
Exactly.
It's a dead zone. Well, 5-minute bounties about to spawn, and you can see just the feel of the laning phase. Secret have a bit better control of the top half of the map. That's why they're able to get both the bounties there. Zai is able to snag one of these bottom lane. God's Rebuke pushing back solo, but no one is able to keep the Poison Sting on him. And 2 stacks. It's going to take him out.
Oh,
that'll be his death.
That last tick got him. Just 10 damage overkill. Top lane, Matumba Man with that early point in Q. Good to see it. A lot of Bristles I've seen skip their Q completely until like level 8, which is not the play. You want to be getting up those stacks of your ultimate even when you're chasing for kills at just level 6. And it's very effective against these low armor int heroes too. Plus you get the chasing power.
Yeah, they've been several iterations of buff happened to the Viscous Nasal Goo until it got to a point where it's actually even just value to pick it up level 1 sometimes for an early first blood.
Well, it used to be the same mana as your Quills, whereas now it's just 12 at level 1. It's super value. It's almost 1 minus armor a tick. This Snapfire hero as well. I'm surprised we haven't seen this picked up more often, especially in the first 2. Just seems like as far as 5 positions go, you've got 4 abilities that all do insane damage. You've got a ton of utility. Nisha, though, in some trouble.
Yeah, he thought he was going to be able to pick up a haste rune. Instead, Zayats denies it and not actually going for, well, he's trying to get close enough for the glimpse now. Might be able to do so thanks to Solo, who slowed down Nisha with the Brambles. but the glimpse back is not quite good enough. A TP away from Nisha will allow him to survive.
Really nice play from YapzOr there. That little bit of time bought from the toss and the extra auto that Viper wasted, that's going to be the difference maker there.
Top 2 CS for both the Naga Siren as well as the Vipers. So even if that top lane has been really rough for Resolution, and it is a problem, right?
Yeah.
Because it's a Leshrac. That's not a hero that you look at as a 2 or a 1. You want to secure his farm a lot of times. You said Resolution, you know, you like trending him more towards a 2, but they didn't secure his lane like they would a 2.
No, definitely not. But there really wasn't a way to do so. You can't leave your Naga bottom against Mars because that's just a matchup that you're not going to have any fun with whatsoever.
And Treant's not a tri-lane hero as well, right?
Not in my opinion, but at the same time, it has worked in the past, but especially going this non-leech seed build, which I prefer because then Solo's able to help out his offlane from bottom. And at the end of the day, if someone's going to win the game for you on VP, it will be this Naga. So guarantee this right here, top CS, top net worth.
Yeah. And the biggest hero that's going to create all the space for your win condition is going to be this guy right here. No one in the mid lane trying to chase down YapzOr thanks to a small rotation from Solo as well as Science. Man, Virtus Pro. This is, I think it was Gambit doing this as well, rotating the 2 supports around constantly and just having 2 or 3 strong solo laners. It looks like with the Mars Arena going out there, they're going to try and get the kill onto no one. They will be able to do so. Pinning him against the wall, Zai picks up the last hit.
And this, to me, is the issue that VP are going to run into, which is trying to take team fights around objectives in this mid-game portion. You're playing against 2 heroes, Bristle and Dusa. They're just going to camp on top of towers. And if the arena goes down, there's no counterplay. There's no way you're going to be able to get in there and save whoever's caught inside. And then you look later into the game, 30, 40 minutes plus. Let's think about Naga versus Dusa in the late game. At a point, Dusa either eats or picks up an Ags from Roshan, and then the Snake straight up insta-kills Illusions. How are you going to kill the hero?
With that kind of issue, with that in mind, and seeing as what we saw, like hindsight being 20/20, but it really feels like they didn't need to go for that tiny kill, right? They could have just pressured that mid tower. It's already quite low.
Yeah.
They probably would have finished it off. Now that objective is still out there in the win and can still be defended by this Medusa, who
They want to be bringing Rezo to these engagements, but Lesh is of all heroes that are XP dependent, it is the Leshrac that I think of as like numero uno. And if you check out his net worth, right, his levels, he's just now hitting 6. He doesn't want to move from his lane until he is 6 because his damage output just isn't there. He'd be the one that's securing tower earlier. You're going to get it anyway. Secret, they don't have the arena, so they're not going to really be able to defend this, but perhaps they can set up for the deny. But yep, there's Rezo. He's hit 6. He's ready to get first.
yeah, that's good enough. All right, well, it took a lot of heroes, 4 heroes mid, but they do manage to get that early mid tower. That's an advantage for them being able to invade into these jungles. I'm not sure if they'll be able to stop that Medusa from farming up the triangle with the Ancients, but it is something they're going to have to figure out eventually here. As the 10-minute mark approaches, outposts and bounties. You can see Zions right now is trying to sneak in an outpost here in the top lane. He's going to be backed up by no one who's going to join him. Puppey goes to intercept and may be able to stop the outpost from being taken, but it's going to be a team fight. But Top Man pushes forward with his quills going out, but now he's going to be slowed and broken by no one as well. Try to finish him off. The arena comes out with a spear onto no one, but Matum Man's still going to die, and no one should be fine. The shield wall will not finish him off. That's going to be a 1-for-2 exchange with the outpost not being taken.
God, it is near impossible to play Bristle against this Viper. You can see him just get ulted inside the Nether Toxin. That's removing his ability to engage with his ultimate. Plus, the reason Rezo survives there is because at least 2 procs of those back spines did not come out because you removed that with the break mechanic. So you can be a lot more aggressive against this Bristle early game, even though he's the top net worth on Secret. Really nice maneuver there from VP. Kuman still just farming it up, already 1,300 ahead of any enemy on Secret. So you got to feel happy for now, but this is a really cool game to watch because the story is going to be VP trying to get aggressive with this Manta Diffusal timing, maybe that next item on Naga when they really try to push their edge. And Secret just saying, hey, we'll take our time. We don't need catch necessarily. You're going to come to us and we know it.
Yeah. In Virtus Pro, they're going to get aggressive, presumably with the net worth advantage too, since they do have the Treant Protector protecting these towers like he's doing so. So with a tower advantage should lead into a net worth advantage, as you can see VP going up to this top lane. I want to point out another cool thing. Viper with a maxed out Q build. They have a good amount of magic damage
That's a good
on
point.
their lineup, right? This actually enables the Leshrac to do a lot more damage
Oh
in
yeah,
team
and
fights
you
too.
can even understand better why Matu just melted up top, right?
Yeah.
With no bristleback and just a Leshrac on top of him. He's taking more than effectively pure damage from all of these spells, and that's definitely tough. So
Well, that's one way to kill all the trees. Zai just drops the arena and will be able to find Solo, who's been a pesky nuisance, but they know they have to kill that tree to actually take this safe lane tower, because Secret knows what an imperative it is not to be too far behind in this tower trade-off game.
yeah, just so far so good though for VP. Look at the way they're playing this. Just split up around the map, taking control, and I especially like No One here going for that farming item first. I've seen a lot of times Vipers go for the utility of, say, a Force Staff or a Hood,
Hurricane
but
Bike or
then
something, yeah.
you see this net worth position. You want to take this edge, get something that allows you to keep it, and then you can start going for utility and survivability. Otherwise, you're effectively all in on this idea. You're going to consistently win engagements and take fights. And if the game slows down like a Naga versus Dusa can, you just end up falling off the face of the earth, and you can't afford to do that as this primary damage dealer for your team.
He is very dead. He is definitely going to be pulled back into No One. Side's going to try and hit him with the spear and TP out. That's a cool play because there's no stun left. That was very nicely done by him.
I like that he thought about spearing first, then realized his only hope was to spear post glimpse. Immediately, he does just that, TP's out. Perfect play from Zai, excellent way to keep his composure.
And a misplay from Zayats, right? Like, he had total vision. He planned that out. Like, you should have been able to have the wherewithal to read, okay, as long as I land the kinetic field, I just slow him down.
And I think he also has to probably drop ulti there, even without kinetic, just because, like, it's one of those things. It's a good play from Zai, but Zai did have the answer.
A flying Mars lands on top of Resolution. May have missed the God's Rebuke, but will not miss the spear. They're going to chain stun him pretty easily here.
Jeez, there's just too many stuns, right? We saw this in that last game from Nigma when they had the Shaker, Lesh, and Mars trialing. You know, if you could just get caught.
Three-man smoke up, but there was Nisha sitting on the high ground, immediately popped the Stone Gaze. No one wants to fight this still, and he's going to sit on the high ground, but now Snapfire, ultimate raining down in, but it looks like the Medusa is still going to die here, sits inside the Nether Toxin, traded out with the Viper, but the supports got on by both Matumba Man and Yapzor on the back line, so it ends up being a 1-for-3.
Wow. That felt a lot better for VP at the onset, but it looked like just the positioning was not there. They got cut off, and that's the power of the Dusa team fight, right? You don't necessarily need the Mars ultimate. And yeah, sure, Secret, they're not really the ones making plays, but it's VP that are continuing to try and play aggressive, and you can expect it just because of the way their draft comes together. You really want Rezo to be involved in these fights, but he's still just trying to get his own game going, and
his game's going to be stalled up if he dies here again. Doesn't hit the stun onto Matumba Man. Matumba Man's going to go for the dive here, but the living armor is going to protect him. Solo threatening the ultimate is going to pop it now. They have the TP coming in from Zions to make sure they can keep these heroes in place. The Glimpse is ready to go. Matumba Man and Yapzor are trying to stick together here. Now the Glimpse pull back into the kinetic field, and no one's showing up. So finally they do have the damage to bring down that Bristleback, and may have caught Yapzor as well. And this is a really big kill because he was actually getting close to his Blink deck.
Yeah, and this new tree armor is so good against the Bristle. All of his damage, including the spines, is physical, and you just have plus 10 armor and a bunch of regen. It's the only reason Resolution's alive there, and it's more evident just this VP lineup has such great synergy together. The Disruptor with the Viper, Kinetic, Nether Toxin, that's just busted. Now you have a tree as well to protect your Leshrac, plus tons of lockdown for all this AoE magic to come through, and Naga to secure your late game. 2K ahead of Nisha, however, not out of this yet. In the mid to late game portion, from about now to 30 minutes, I think I'd heavily favor VP. But once Nisha gets rolling, you can see him with that Manta first. You don't traditionally see it that often, but against a tree, you kind of need to pick it up. And at a point, he'll have, I'm telling you, Aghanims. You just kill the illusions. They all die. Doesn't matter if you have Heart, Scotty, and a Butterfly. The illusions instantly die.
At what point do you think he's going to get that item? Because it is really value for this game. Do you pick it up like third?
I think you could pray for a Roche, really. But at the same time, it's one of those relationships that I feel like you gotta like just see what the players feel, simply because, you know, the problem is if you go for something too early of an exit, it's then all of a sudden not the Naga you're worried about, but perhaps this Viper, who's also keeping pace with you in the net worth. Plus, all this magic damage, the lack of BKB could be punished severely.
Yeah, an Aghanim Scepter would also lead you into a very low damage build for the Medusa, and that is obviously going to be a problem. You need some damage to threaten these heroes that are pushing against you, like this Viper. It's 7-9 right now, 16.5 minutes in. Virtus Pro do have a slight net worth lead, but it feels like they have more control of this game. As you can see, no one is running into this Bristleback here, committing for the kill, should be able to get it, but he's taking a lot of damage in return, especially from that Snapfire ultimate, now tossed up into a Stone Gaze as well. Resolution trapped out by the Arena. That's 3 dead on the side of Virtus Pro. Once again, they had a larger net worth lead, but they keep on taking these very offensive fights against Secret. And Secret, in their defensive positions, are managing to trade out 1 for 3, time after time.
Yeah, and from a spot where you'd expect them to be way more on the back foot too, right?
Yeah.
Talking about how VP is playing this great game, they're the ones with the towers, they're the ones with the map control. And it's not just that, but Secret are also taking fights outside of their own jungle, which is very important. They're ensuring that waves stay on the enemy side of the map. You don't want to find yourself choked into your own side, as they look to be right now a bit. But VP, no Disruptor ult, probably not going to make something happen too soon. I like the rush of the Spirit Vessel on Zayac. Playing against a Bristleback, it's just a necessity. And it looks like second item BKB on Viper, and Dusa rushing the Butterfly.
It's nice, but at the same time, I do really want to see an Aghanim Scepter, right, as well, because you've got a classic Naga Siren Disruptor combination.
I'm just really worried. I'm completely wrong about this, and the Stone Gaze no longer kills illusions, even though it's not in the patch notes or on the Dotapedia. But
anyway, I mean, I think it's very likely that Nisha may not even go for it. So
yeah, but
we
the
can
Butterfly,
just say you're right, and that Nisha should have gone it. But
Butterfly makes a lot of sense in this spot, though, because it's one of those items that drastically increases your pace. Your farming speed will increase, but your survivability also matches. You're against a Viper and a Naga. That miss chance is so huge. Neither one of these heroes is going to be able to buy an MKB for quite some time.
Yeah. Solo rolling around. We're talking about like being able to make sure your lanes aren't always pushed in by the Naga Siren. Mars, one of the best heroes to do something like that, right? He just has a combination that instantly kills a creep wave.
And this is a good time to go. You got level 2 Song active, Manta Diffusal on the Naga. Here we go.
Going to be able to get off the Static Storm onto the Mars. See if they can finish him off, but YapzOr looks to be able to intercept the combination. They also have the Snapfire ultimate raining in. Kuman pops his ultimate, slowing down these heroes and hoping that the rest of his team gets out. He does that pretty nicely, stays on the high ground. Now they have to make sure they still don't get caught by the Blink Dagger from YapzOr. He was looking for it, but the high ground, it's dangerous to go up there with no vision. Kyle, as you always seem to say, nice blink away from YapzOr before the damage lands.
And bad news for me, Cap. It does appear illusions now just get affected by the Stone Gaze and turn to stone without immediately dying. Thus,
oh, nice cookie.
Again.
That is troublesome for no one. He's going to be saved by the Overgrowth, but a toss forward. Matumbaman, the Bristleback, is right there in the front lines on top of everybody getting off these quills, but it looks like the Medusa ends up dying to the damage coming out from Resolution. It was too much for him to handle with the Spirit Vessel actually up. Matumbaman has to tread very carefully here. Kinetic Field blocking in Puppey. He goes the other direction, dodging the stun from Resolution, but he can't dodge the AoE damage from all of that magic. Now the Mars Arena going out. Managed to actually catch Rezo and Zayac perfectly. Should be able to chain them just enough. The Eul Scepter going off once again. Resolution was spared last time around. He got off the Eul Scepter. Can he do it again? It looks like he might be okay. Spear up, 1 second's time. God's Rebuke, if he's close enough, lands that. Now the Spear to finish him off, but he dodges it. Rezo sidesteps it. Look out though, a toss from YapzOr is going to be able to claim his life, but now YapzOr is committed so heavily here. Solo is looking to catch him. Never mind. Matumbaman looking to bail out YapzOr. Matumba, it's supposed to be the other way around, my friend. Don't endanger yourself for a support.
This is one of those games where you hope Secret remember their WoW experience, because the whole game for now is just going to be don't stand in the green fire, both Dusa and Bristle. You saw once Nisha standing in it, he's attacking, but the split shot disappears. Like Bristleback, the Matumbaman's survivability is not there inside of it, and he just starts getting beaten down. It's very difficult to team fight on VP's terms, especially if you're clumped up as much as Secret was in that engagement. Still salvage, 15-12, just slightly over 1,000 gold lead for Secret. But anybody's game. Really nice juke there from Rezo. That would have been a nice kill for Zai. And it also helped them pick up Matu on the other end, stacking from Puppey on the Ancients to be expected with the Dusa. And there's the Meteor Hammer on Solo. Huge for the support tree. He's level 13 on Solo.
Yeah, he's a big boy, but that's what a lot of Treant protectors are able to do, right? Because they play on the side lane by themselves constantly. Their job is basically just constantly keep one lane pushed in and sometimes show up for an overgrowth.
Yeah, it's curious too. There was Greaves builds coming up for Rezo. I like this a lot, and you look at it, I mean, Essence Ring, this is what it's all about. You look at his team, you really can't think about reliably killing this Naga Siren. You're gonna have a BKB on the Viper. They're gonna all in for this Lash. He's gonna Essence, he's gonna get armored from the tree. This is a very tough hero to take down, and Secret really don't have any better options unless they're able to find these supports.
Yeah, there are certain heroes where, like, I like to call it the HP to damage ratio.
Yeah.
It's just too juicy. You want to go for that hero every single time. And Leshrac, his HP is not great, and his damage output is immense. So that's why Rezo is trying to shore up that weakness, right?
And it's all from his spells, right? As long as he has mana to continue up utilizing his arsenal, it's just stay alive and stay in the fight. And here comes the Rosh Pit.
Trying to sneak into Roshan, but Secret is going to be able to catch him. They do manage to get a Mars Arena on top of the sleep, though. The Snapfire ultimate still raining in. Kuman is able to get out, though. Now they've got a perfect Static Storm on top of 3 different heroes, but they're just turning and fighting. The Stone Gaze managed to go off. The Resolution got stoned up by Nisha. Now inside the pit, they've already finished off the 3. They're going to go and catch Zions as well. Yaps are hot on his tail, ready to go with the Blink Dagger right now. And that is going to be a 4th hero down and probably a Roshan for Secret. Virtus Pro, this was a very even game, and they just threw it all out.
Well, you've got a Naga, right? Where's the illusion on the side of the pit? Did Zai just walked up and arena'd you?
Yep.
Like, that cannot happen. Oh, very, very unfortunate there. VP, you're in such a great spot, and then the song, as you said, canceled out by the arena. Snapfire taking everyone down to half HP. You can't even attack the enemies yet because they're still snoozing. Very, very unfortunate. VP all of a sudden go from in total control of the game to suddenly up against the ropes. BKB Bristle, no more Nether Toxin worries. And Nisha with an Aegis now can start to march down your lanes.
Is this the point, Kyle, where you, looking at the item progression, you think this game is now turned into Secret's favor and they're the ones who hold the control?
I would have to say so. You don't really have a method of really addressing Nisha at the moment. And by the time this Aegis fades, he'll have that Scotty complete. He'll be well on his way to a Butterfly. Chose to swap it up. I imagine just because of what we were talking about, where, yeah, it's very nice against the 2 cores of VP, but what was really killing Nisha seemed to be the magical damage plus standing in a Nether Toxin. And this way, he'll just increase that survivability.
Yeah, just statting up some more.
And Vlad's like that on Zai.
Particularly value.
Spread damage carry plus increased damage equals good math.
So what's the next step for Virtus Pro? They just have to wait out the Aegis? I mean, can you even wait out that much time, give up that much ground to a Medusa lineup?
I don't know if you can, Cap. It's going to be a tough road ahead, that is for sure. I like this idea in that they're going to try and play top and just split the map for now. But you got to be cautious. No one, you can see just such a slow hero, this Viper, 328 MS. It's very easy to get caught out of position if you lag just a little bit behind.
So you got Solo hitting the bottom lane, pushing that in, well, as much as he can with a Bristleback camped out there. They're pushing out top lane as well. They're just looking for anything to split Secret up, right? Because they can't just play totally passive.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just saw Vampire Fangs on the Bristleback. That's sort of a bit of a, I don't know, a medium level 25 talent for the hero. And the spell lifesteal is so effective with those spines.
Well, Zai, he separates from the rest of the crew a little bit, but he does manage to get off the arena and spears in the Leshrac. He's still going to die, though, to Resolution, but the arena holds in that Leshrac long enough that they're going to have to use the song to bail Rezo out. Now he's going to go for the TP.
Oh, no!
Oh, no!
You don't want to get stoned in the middle of a match, Rezo.
Yeah. That was not the right time to be green dreaming out there.
I mean, I could totally understand why Kuman also was, like, kind of walking away. Because he's like, I can't stick around forever. Like, they have a fair amount of catch. Still, though, they traded 3 for 3, so not that big of a deal one way or the other. They now have the heart up for the Naga Sirens, so tankier illusions.
Yeah, the issue is just going to be, does a Naga really solo carry this game when you look at where his other 2 cores are in position on the net worth? And bear in mind, Secret's 3 cores, they're all so durable. They're just tanky AF, and I just don't know where the damage is going to come from. Zai TP's bot, he'll clear that wave, get a tower deny as they also clear out the tier 2 mid. VP can shove top into the base, but not confident going tier 3 if YapzOr is off the map.
I would love to see somebody chipping away at that top tower, just anybody kind of showing, because Secret are just ignoring it right now and continuing to hit mid.
Yeah, but again, if they have no vision, right? If YapzOr is not showing, for all they know, he's just standing on the tower. If someone comes up, shows up, toss, stun, back TP, and that's a kill. Glimmer and a Philosopher's Stone on Puppey, a Craggy.
You know, it's funny you talked about the Viper being, you know, well, it's just pretty much a Naga Siren trying to carry this game. You said no one was going for a farming build, and, you know, they did get that damage build out for him where he was going to be able to accelerate, but then they just took too many bad fights in a row. That
It just comes down to the Roche, really.
Yeah.
It's all the Roche fight here, and part of that could be, you know, when that occurred, no one had a Dragon Lance after the Maelstrom and about 2,000 gold. If that's a BKB, perhaps things change, who knows, but at the end of the day, you got walked at and initiated on while inside the Roche pit with an Illusion Core and heroes that should be providing vision. It just happens. C'est la vie. Zayak, you know, we've seen this a lot. You got a Disruptor on your team. The Ags is queued up. This combo is incredibly devastating, and it's still certainly a win condition for VP. You can never count out a team with this combo.
Oh, it's interesting. They got Spider Legs on the side of VP. Against the Mars, you can't walk out of the arena if you're inside of it, but you can walk into it from the other side. You'll get bumped in by the pushback, but a small little interesting thing to note. Aghanim Scepter is the build-up for Zayats. I feel like they have to focus on his farm from here on out, because that is the next big power spike.
Yeah, I want to see him get the Philosopher's Stone. I think still being held by Solo, but he's got a Meteor Hammer, and when you look at the net worth, I don't want to see my tree ahead of my Disruptor in this kind of game.
No, he's got the Arcane Ring up. Zayats, maybe they just don't have a Philosopher's Stone on the side of VP. Is that possible? No, it's there. Guys, like, Zayats' farm is so important. Well, Spider Legs got him alive, so.
Yeah, but I would agree. I like the utility of the Spider Legs, but I just think Ag's first priority by a large margin. And there's a pipe picked up by Puppey after that Glimmer Cape. He is a very farmed 5 position. And looks like they're just going to keep marching down.
Puppey was taking your advice, which is he was holding onto the Philosopher's Stone for quite some time. And as a result, he's got a healthy amount of utility items to help with this push. And eventually we're going to get to a point where Secret are going to call VP on their bluff. And they're just going to go into the high ground and say, you can try and keep split pushing if you want, but Naga Siren, she pushes in the lanes very quickly, but she's not going to hit the tower faster than this lineup.
Yeah, this is looking rough. And you can see the 3 cores, look how confident they are. What do? You can poke us, but look at Zai, just activated Bulwark. Force the whole enemy team back. Oh, 5 heroes of VP in base. All right, guys, let's go clear their woods. They've got vision on the bottom half. I wouldn't be surprised to see Secret stick around here and look to perhaps get aggressive. Oh, wait, that's a real one.
He actually baited out. They thought it was just illusions. He's trying to get a good sleep setup here for any kind of static storm, but it says it's just going to be the Medusa. Looks like the backline side walking in with this BKB arena. They're going to be able to get the Meteor Hammer onto the Medusa. Low on mana, actually out of mana now. Maybe they can focus him down. The arena saves so much damage, though, from that Viper. Nisha getting lower and lower, but so is Kuman. He's committed for the kill, and it looks like they will manage to get it with the Viper. Kuman, as well as Resolution, though, have overextended themselves in trying to finish off that Medusa, and will both trade away their lives.
You can see the great initiation from VP, right? They catch him off guard, they make a play, but you all in for this Dusa, who just is standing still attacking you, trusting that his team will clean you up if you're inevitably able to finish him off, and that's exactly what occurs. Now with both cores dead, the rest of Secret could potentially look to continue pushing top. They almost have a Radiance up on their bristle.
Yeah.
Further demoralizing, or rather deteriorating the damage that Naga's going to be able to output with the illusions.
So another cool couple of mechanical things here. The Mars, really good against any sort of ranged carries, right? Because he's got both his Bulwark to be able to soak up projectiles, right, with that 70% chance, but then he's also got the Arena, and that is a large part of the reason why the Medusa lives so long. He pops the BKB, runs into the Song, and activates the Arena, keeping the Viper out of the Arena, so his shots going in are all blocked.
Yeah, it's a very good point, Cap. And I think that's just another reason we've seen how many times Zai just making the right decision in the clutch, right? If he just... 99 Dota players out of 100 are like, oh, I didn't get songed. Let me wait outside,
Yep,
and I'll go counter initiate. Zai recognizes, look, I need to get this arena down. My Dusa is going to die. I need to just go in, because they're not going to target me. I don't care if I waste my BKB just to cover distance, because I'm not the target.
Yeah.
You've got to kill my Medusa, or you're not going to win this fight.
I mean, the Medusa lost like so much of his mana so quickly, but he survived just that extra 5 seconds, I think, in large part just because, you know, there was no that last bit of damage they needed, which was all from that Viper.
It's a good point, because you'd think he's just going to melt. He's standing in the break. He's just getting railed on by a whole bunch of illusions, but to your point, he's got the wherewithal to just stand still, keep auto-attacking.
All right, well,
stays alive.
That Aghanim Scepter is coming in for Zayats bit by bit. Just needs another 1,600 gold, and we're in business territory.
I can't believe they killed Rezo like that, though. He has 33 armor before Tree's buff. Now we've got a Root Blink possible on your Treant. It's going to be interesting. You got to watch the BKB timings from Secret and the Manta. If Solo's on his game, he'll be able to get 2 or 3 of these cores post their item usage. If he doesn't, you're going to have issues, and his impact in the team fight is effectively completely null.
So I want to ask you, like we were talking about the Aghanims on Bristleback. Like I thought it would be really cool with the Medusa. Why do you think he goes for the Radiance instead?
Oh, no, on Bristle?
Yeah, for like the AoE Viscous Nasal Goo.
I mean, I think you just probably prefer the AoE magic to the AoE 0 damage goo. It's just safer, right? Oh, that was close.
That was a little close, but they both managed to get out.
Also, you don't really have any effect from minus armor against these VP heroes at the moment. 2 agility cores and a Flesh with 33. It just seems rough.
It seems like Matumba Man also kind of wants to be a damage dealer in himself.
Yeah.
Not just like, they're not going to be entirely reliant on the Medusa, who, you know, with a Naga Siren lineup, right? Like single core lineups do suffer against that because you just get a combination that completely locks you out of your items and you just get focused down.
Yeah. Next Rosh spawn, that's going to be our expected team fight location, and this is the
Bop
fear.
and blink.
Okay.
Bop and blink, bop and blink. That's all Solo's got to do. Just annoy him. The couriers are going to fly out trying to get vision of Solo here, but they would have to drop too many sentries. They had the right idea, but they're too late to execute it.
Good try. Those Secrets stand on their toes, and the thing about it is the supports have the luxury to make that kind of play. Sure, you don't get the kill, but if you check out the rest of the map, it's not as if their lanes are suffering. Bottom's up at the tier 2. Matumba Man not even forced to back because he still has BKB teleport available. You know Solo was just top, so there's no other manner of canceling that BKB TP. Invis Rune bottled as well. Looks like AC will be his option. Secret, as always, going for these plus damage items. And check out the vision, as we can see on the right side of our screen. Radiant, absolutely 0 wards and no real manner of pushing out onto the map unless they try and smoke out or hold hands, which is going to be their decision as they smoke.
4-man smoke. Well, Solo hits that bottom lane. Do they have a gem on Secret? We'll have to wait to see because Matumba Man does manage to break that smoke. They've caught Zaya. It's perfect for YapzOr. He tosses him back into the rest of the team. Does manage to get off that Static Storm, but easily canceled by the BKB of Matumba Man. And, okay, TP away from no one is successful. The rest of Virtus Pro get back. Okay, not that big of a deal. You wanted that smoke to go successfully, but they only lost their 4.
Yep, and the thing is, you can pull up the items real quick before Secret go to Siege. Check it in terms of these support items, right? You have a Vlad's, you'll soon have an AC on this Dire side to go along with the Pipe, a Force, a Glimmer, etc. On the Radiant team, everyone's got to itemize for themselves. Sure, you've got a Greaves, but there's no Vlad's. Those plus damage items aren't out yet. They have no utility, no Force, no Glimmer, no nothing. So you don't have as many options in terms of committing, because if you overcommit just a hair, you're dead, and there's nothing a support can do to save you unless they've got ultimates available. Another boss back.
Another initiation on Resolution. He self-fuels himself to try and buy a little bit of time, but when he comes back down to Earth, he's dead. But look at all the damage Nisha's taken, and Resolution's still not dead. They had to commit a little bit more, but Nisha almost getting gone on and finished off here, but now it's going to be Matumba Man who's in trouble. He committed his BKB earlier. Zai's going to try and come in and save him with the arena. Not good enough, but he does manage to get the spear onto the real Naga Siren. Focus down on Nisha. That's going to be a good trade-off for them. Now the toss back from Zayats as well. Once again, Yaps are finding initiation after initiation. Zayats low. Avalanche going to be able to catch him and Solo. Now diving into the tier 3s, we're going to have our first buyback. It's out from Resolution. A broken Mars having some troubles with no one. No one committing his BKB, but now slowed down by the Scotty of Nisha, poking and prodding at him, pursuing him into the high ground, but they don't want to overcommit. Secret know that they've just won a really good team fight. They don't have to break Virtus Pro right now. They've already hurt their economy significantly.
I really just love watching these guys play, man. YapzOr abusing that toss requires no target, level 20 talent, and just putting people out, taking his Medusa. It's just so easy for him to play around. And you can even see there, right? Rezo gets tossed in, and that lack of utility. He's facing his base, but there's no force staffs, and he's just dead in the water. And man, it's just a tough game.
What is the workaround here for VP? Because I kind of understand why they don't have that stuff, because who builds it? What would be your
That's the problem, right? There isn't really someone that can. You need the Ags Rush on Disruptor. You need the Vessel first, too. Naga's got to mind his own game. Maybe the Leshrac can, but Rezo was behind. He can't afford to go back for the, he doesn't want to turn himself into a support. And the Greaves is all they've got.
Yeah, but he has to have Yules, and then Greaves, I mean, that is a utility item, so.
It's helpful here. And I also,
can't blame him for that.
I just love Nisha, man, because, we explained why he had Butterfly queued up at first, right? Explaining like why that's good. The reasons still stand, but I think his decision to go for the Scotty and now the Mjolnir afterwards, pop that on yourself, just right-click, the illusions are going to melt, and look at all the damage VP can't turn off. The Disruptor ultimate, the Leshrac spells, you're going to be proccing Mjolnir every reset, and then you go for the Satanic Butterfly, and that's when you go win the game. So it's just a matter. He knows what items are good, but it's the order that I think he's very optimal on, and again, no one BKB teleporting home.
Well, at least he doesn't get caught. They do have the Aghanim Scepter of the Disruptor, but it's do or die time for Virtus Pro. They're down 17,000 net worth against a Medusa lineup. And very few lineups are able to contest a Medusa that's this fond.
I just always feel like when Secret look to actually end a game, they've got just everything they need. Even the Orb of Destruction Shiva's on Zai. Like, the whole team, when you have these tanky cores and the luxury of buying all these items that further increase everyone's survivability, it's just such a rough game for VP because you're going to have to initiate. You're going to have to stop them from hitting your base. But how do you actually deal damage and finish kills? That's the concern.
Yeah, especially against all these auras. I like that you talked about that because I feel like it's one of those things that Secret, OG, like basically the top 3 teams of the world at any given time, they always have a bunch of utility items and a bunch of aura items to go finish the game.
It's something I love about watching Puppey play. It's effectively just Force, Glimmer, or Medallion every single game.
Yeah.
And then I remember a couple patches previous, there was, before Halberd got nerfed a bit, where he would pick that up routinely on his 5 positions, even when they were ranged heroes, and they'd abuse it. There were games they'd have 3, and they're playing against the Medusa, who didn't buy a BKB, and they just win that one fight because he's standing still doing nothing for the entire engagement.
I got another example for you. What about the old value buckler that Puppey used to go?
Yeah.
I mean, that was him who innovated that kind of build, right? So
it's all about the math, right? I miss Nahaz. We need him to do our math. I've had to copy homework from Lacoste, and it's just really, I'm failing the class miserably now.
It's a mess over there. I've seen his handwriting. He does have a very cool notebook, though. I will give him that. Big fan of Marvel comics. He is.
I thought he was, it's funny, I thought he was taking notes in Croatian.
Yeah.
But it was actually just terribly written English, which I can't blame him for, because my handwriting's even worse, but still.
Okay, they have to throw out the Static Storm, prevent him from getting off the BKB and the cheese here. If they can commit, finish him off just in time before the Static Storm fades. But no, he gets on the BKB as well as the cheese. And now for the turnaround, Virtus Pro, Matumbaman's still low, but he's able to walk this off. And now Zai's here to be able to lock them all down, sparing Resolution in the arena out. No one tries to get out of the arena, but he can't quite make it because the Stone Gaze slowed him down. Stoned up now, the song will eventually fade as Naga Siren TP's home. 3 dead with no buyback.
Remember we were talking about trying to kill one of the secret heroes?
Yeah.
And if you don't, bad stuff was going to go down. They blew absolutely everything. Matumbaman is going to be full HP. Like, this is not
I don't even
good
think they messed up the combination, right?
No.
I think they used all the abilities they were supposed to. They just ran out of steam. And now they're going to run out of Naga Sirens. This Kuman's been tossed in, speared up to the tier 3. No Manta, no illusions, no hope, it seems, for Virtus Pro with Secret. Go marching straight for the tier 4s, ignoring Raxes at this point. They know they can just end it, and no one, he knows that too. He's going to call GG here for the game 1.
And this is just why, traditionally, it's so tough to take this team down. You know, you look at throughout Dota history, the OGs, the Enigmas, the Secrets, the problem you run into is that you can't afford to make the critical errors. You have this game a chance, good chance. You're at least 50-50 in it as VP. You want to get this Roche, you want to look to continue pressuring. The problem is, you messed up. You gave away an Aegis, you gave away a team fight. You've lost the game because Secret is not going to make a mistake. You can't play against the best team in the world needing them to screw up because they're not going to. You give them that 4K lead in the mid game, they ran with it the entire way. They didn't lose a fight from that point forward. You cannot give them the I don't even know what to call it, any sort of edge. You've got to play a perfect game.
Can't give him that one shot. That one opportunity. Secret will always punish you for it. Virtus Pro, they're going to have to clean up their game heading into game 2. But first, Kyle.
Yeah, is VP going to be ready in game 2? We're going to find out, but let's break that first game down. We talked about this draft, and we knew there was going to be a point where everybody on the side of Team Secret was going to be very difficult to take down. And that's kind of what happened. At some point, it was very even. Lacoste, Lizard, it was very even, where Secret as well as Virtus Pro had about the same amount of kills. And then you look 10 minutes later, and then Virtus Pro has only been able to get 1 extra kill, and Secret's able to get double the amount of kills they had before. It was, from minute 20 onwards, I feel like it was a Secret game all the way.
They threw everything they could to kill off that Medusa multiple times in a row. But yeah, they get her, but by the time they kill her off, everyone else is dead.
Yep.
And I think Secret is the first team in a while that I see play well against Disruptor plus Naga combo. Usually even the best teams, they just fall to that, but the way Virtus Pro played, it just wasn't good enough for Secret.
I think one of the issues was that Disruptor, they gave him farm priority. He instead decided to go for full Spirit Whistle. Don't get me wrong, I love the item, one of my favorite ones, but in this situation where you have Naga Siren to set things up, like you want to have that Aghanim Scepter, I think this, I'm going to call it a little change, could change things around at the end. Also, the last fight where you're focusing, I mean, you're focusing BB, who has Cheese and BKB. You still don't have enough damage to actually bring him down. And Team Secret did a really good job just focusing that Viper. He went for a super greedy build, Maelstrom first item, invaded the jungle, stole some of the stacks, but they played a bit too aggressive in that jungle, which resulted that Team Secret was setting up the vision. Once again, good warding from Puppey, and they were getting the return kills.
This right here, right? They're always, just what Lacoste is talking about, setting up vision on their side of the map. This is also another team fight around the Roche pit in which Snapfire is going ham. They catch 3 in that Disruptor Static Storm, but they don't have the damage.
Yeah.
They're all way too bulky already, and it's an easy fight for them. But all of this, it all happened because of perfect vision gaming by Puppey, like Lacoste said earlier. They just set up these traps on their high ground, and they knew that Virtus Pro, how they like to play these Disruptors, how does Solo like to play it? He likes to go first, like, with Zaz, right, this time around, doesn't matter, but they wanted to go first, they wanted to dive and to glimpse the target back. Every time they would glimpse that Medusa back, they would be outnumbered in the back. So, just perfect execution of a strategy versus Naga plus Disruptor combo, which isn't really easy to do.
And these BKBs on the course side of Team Secret, so Viper's break is not gonna get to them. Also, thinking outside of the box, like he's on some of these heroes, you do not want to get early BKBs, but they got it. And Nisha did not have a good game at the start, but man, he knows how to recover.
Yeah.
10th pick Viper was extremely good. No one just pushed him out of the lane and then invaded the jungle, but I think he wanted too much. Also Rezo, way too many deaths on the hero.
That's the problem with this Rezo Leshrac. If you're playing this offlane Lesh, you need to secure that lane for him. I think that's the most important thing, and they did not succeed at doing that. Leshrac was very underleveled for a really long time. Lesh, if you're running him offlane, you need to give him this bulky, brawly support that's going to secure his farm, and you can't leave him. No. That's also the thing. You can't leave Lesh and start rotating across the map. You need to babysit him.
And we did see the Mars kind of forcing a support to stick with Naga as well. We saw them starting off with, for quite a while actually, there was a Treant Protector with the Naga, because you can't leave the Naga alone against the Mars, which left Leshrac together with Disruptor up against the Tri-Lane, and that was a really rough situation for Resolution to be in. Now we criticize Rezo, his performance quite a bit. This is not his hero though. Like regardless of him in the off lane.
In
The
the off lane
question
it's
is,
not, yeah.
what is his hero?
I mean, Lash
Huh?
should be his hero, though, right? It's the mid hero that he used to play quite a lot before. On the offlane, though, it's a completely different story. The way you play on mid with this Lash, it feels different. When you're playing Lash on offlane and you're playing from behind, and it takes a completely different playstyle,
Yeah.
completely different approach to the game. And he struggled. I love the item build, though. I love the Greaves, I love the Yules, everything. Just bulking up. He had the Essence Ring. Just keep yourself living in that fight for as long as possible. Sadly, it wasn't enough for them. It
Team
wasn't enough
Secret
damage still.
positioning, the warding, they know how to play against this combo from
Yeah.
Naga Siren and Disruptor, which I think the first Roche was where the game actually breaks. You don't do too much with that first Aegis, but you build up all the advantage in the world that you want, set things up for the second Aegis, get that cheese on your second core, and the problem was Snapfire was not caught in the Song of the Siren, so she was able to use that ulti and just zone them out completely.
Yeah, we talk a lot about Snapfire and what can interrupt her. We know Clockwork is often picked up against her. Silencer is one that pops up.
You have Glimpse, you have Song of the
Yeah,
Siren,
but-
but it was not enough.
You can be positioned so far away from Mortimer's Kisses, though, and as you said, I mean, even the song doesn't reach it at that point, so that was already a tough position to begin with in terms of team fights. I was impressed with Virtus.pro. For the first 20 minutes, they were able to keep everything even, and they did not look bad whatsoever. I thought they had a good shot, but then all of a sudden, Secret's like, oh yeah, we're gonna fight, and there's no hope for you
It's all
anymore.
it takes when you're playing against Team Circuit. One mistake, there's the switch that they're gonna make a change with. Sometimes when you're playing against Secret, it feels like you are in control.
But
And
you're
one
not.
mistake, you're not. They're just, you may have 10, 15 kills more than them, but they are actually controlling the game. If you compared the games where they are having less kills, sometimes they even have more farm.
Yeah, very true. We're going to find out if Virtus.pro can force out a third game or if Secret is going to secure their place in the grand finals tomorrow. We'll see you after the break.
What keeps you going when all goes to hell? What separates a good player from a champion? How do you overcome the odds? How do you make the impossible? It's a secret.
What will they say about you?
That you don't belong here.
That you're not prepared.
That you don't have the skill for it. Or maybe they will say,
That you're not human.
That you cannot be stopped.
That you make it look easy.
But no matter what they say, you just have to follow your dream.
Be initiative.
Get mad!
make a comeback.
Trust your teammates.
Control your emotions.
Make the right call.
Don't be afraid to lose, but do everything to win.
So how do you make the impossible? It's a secret for everyone, except for you.
The last series of Dota 2 that Team Secret lost, where they were playing with their full roster, was the International 2019 in TI9. It's been a while. They've been on an absolute rampant here, also in Kiev. Tug of War Mad Moon, upper bracket finals. That's where we're at right now, and we're about to head into the second game of this series of Secret versus Virtus Pro. Virtus Pro definitely has the fans on their side, but I'm not sure if that is enough to pull them through. I'm here with Lacoste and Lizard. And Lizard, how much of a difference do the fans make?
Well, in this case, when you're losing, it's not even the good difference, because I was listening to the Russian casters, and they were explaining why they lost, what they could have done to make it better, you know. And then they were like, guys, it's such a bad topic, you know. Let's just close it. We don't want to talk about Virtus Pro losing. Let's focus on the future and the next game. So it helps. It helps having your people behind you.
I think those are soundproof, those boots. So it's not really helping them. I mean, all they can hear is.
No, you can hear when people are cheering for you. It doesn't matter how soundproof anything is, you hear it. Right? You can feel the vibrations of people, I don't know, stomping their feet or whatever.
If you decided to play with us in Bukovel instead of just trash talking us from the casters.
I had my fun.
Yeah, you had your fun,
you
but
even have proper.
You'd feel it. You'd feel it.
You know, were
that's true.
These soundproof, like the headphones?
They were.
They were. All right.
Yeah, but you can still feel the bass.
All right, guys.
I guess you didn't hear any cheering, huh?
Let's see if we can have some differences in the first phase bans and picks. At least for Virtus Pro, they probably need to rethink prioritizing both the Shrek and Treant Protector. I didn't really feel their impact, and I didn't really feel their value as the first two picks coming out. Previous game, they banned out Timber, Slardar, and Ench. Still Ench in the pool. Slardar banned out by the other team, so they don't have Batrider.
Ench banned out, and Next Assassin as well.
Yeah.
I don't think anything was wrong with Treant Protector pick. They play well with it. It was causing a lot of issues. You always need to bring one extra hero to secure a kill, especially if Treant Protector is having good early game. By having good early game, I mean getting the levels, and there was nothing to dispel that armor.
I think if you go for Lash again, you need a better brawler up front. Oracle was banned out by Team Secret last game, and Virtus Pro, they instantly go for it. They have played it earlier, and it did look great, but you know, Oracle came back into the meta because it's a counter to so many heroes, right? It's not only about the save, it's about the purge on the laning stage. It helps you versus Iron Shells, versus Treant's armor, versus a bunch of stuff. However, when you pick it this early on, there are options for Secret. They don't have to get those heroes.
You have a save, you have a disarm. The hero does so much. The only thing you need to care about is your positioning, unless you're paired up with another hero who has a save, like an Omni Knight, a Baron, sometimes even an OD who can put you in Astral if you're feeling threatened in a team fight.
Perhaps one bad thing about Oracle, obviously one of its flaws, it can be good at everything, is the fact that it doesn't farm well and it doesn't outpush the waves well. So
yeah, but great at kill stealing, so yeah, we can forgive him all of his flaws.
It compensates.
Team Secret's turn to Virtus.
All right, they open with the Rubik Mars on the side of Secret. Do we like that?
Mars, Zai had an amazing game, even though once again he fed a couple of kills early on. That's what he does, and always manages to find a way to recover.
That's something I like. Instantly they snatch that Timbersaw. It is first stage pick, first stage of the draft, but it doesn't matter. Timbersaw is in a really good spot and is really strong versus Mars. Rubik as well, no matter what he steals from Oracle, is pretty decent. And as a first pick, even though it has low win rate, it hasn't been played by Secret quite a lot, and I think the Absol should do super fine.
I love Rubik as a response to Timbersaw.
5 seconds remaining.
I mean, in general, because they had the first pick, of course, but stealing pure damage against Timbersaw is always extremely effective. I want to see some gap closers, so they should be able to find Oracle in the backlines.
You can see that the drafts have changed a little bit. They pick the response even before the hero is picked, because you can understand that they're going to go for that Timber. It's been banned out every single game before.
Yeah.
If it's in the pool, they're taking it. Some heroes that are surprisingly not taken are heroes such as Chen, right? Chen's
Chen
still in the
Io.
pool. Wisp as well, still in the pool. Team Secret, so far they played that Wisp on mid. Shiver, remember
only
you were
one.
casting that game?
Yeah, I mean, they ended up winning.
Yeah.
It didn't look amazing.
Was versus Bait as
I mean,
well.
eventually it looked amazing, but it took a while to get to that point.
I like what the Virtus Pro did. They banned out Lash, so they're not forcing
not gonna
themselves to pick it. Yeah.
Yeah, they also banned out the Monkey King. We have seen a lot of Monkey King on side of Secret, and it pairs up, would have paired up nicely anyway with the
10
Mars.
seconds
We
remaining.
got some core bans on the side of Secret.
They should have been afraid of
5
Monkey King. You
seconds
have
remaining.
ways to dispel Jingu. You also have Disarm against Monkey. I love Oracle as a counter to Monkey. Not
And
sure
it's
if
a
they
lot of
needed to
burst
ban it
early
out.
on,
Yeah.
right. The only problem is he's pretty solid versus Timber in the laning stage, so if that's the matchup, it can get kind of rough for him, for Timber that is. But overall, yeah, I'm surprised they banned out that Monkey too. Lash doesn't surprise me. It's good they got rid of that.
So what do you feel Secret is prioritizing here in the bans?
Turn
I
to
mean,
pick.
they banned out the Tiny. Any particular person they are targeting, you feel?
I mean, Tiny ban, I don't
Mostly
really...
Zayats. I
Yeah,
think.
it is the Zayats ban, because Tiny would be alright for them as well as a 4 and Rubik 5, but probably not something that you want to go for.
10 seconds
That's
Right.
what they
remaining.
do want to go for.
Yeah, the strength of Team Secret is that they can make
5 seconds remaining.
certain heroes become popular. Like you see Mars. If tomorrow we might see first bans Mars when the teams are playing against them. That's how good they are. They're so versatile. They can play variety of the heroes, and they play them so well. Always finding a way to introduce heroes who are not as strong. And here it comes. They're blocking any kind of healing. It's great against Timbersaw. Very good against the Oracle as well.
Also preventing them from going for that Huskar in the second stage. I think that's probably one of the things that you have to be worried about. You don't want to leave that Huskar in the pool. You banned some other heroes.
10
Now you pick
seconds.
A to
Secrets.
make
Turn
sure
to
they
pick.
don't go in that direction.
All right, this is one of Azad's better heroes. He knows his positioning in a team fight. Also, you have Timbersaw, who could possibly be an offlaner, a self-sustainable one. So Earthshaker can make a rotation on the mid lane with a good block. He could score a kill, or if they want to have a tri-lane against the
10
dual lane of
seconds
Team
remaining.
Secret, that's one way to do it.
Pretty good versus
5
the
seconds
A,
remaining.
right, on the
Virtus
lane. If you
Pro
manage to
turn
block
to
him off.
pick.
Oh, all right, this is something we don't see really every day. Jug. I've talked about this hero a little bit earlier because I think he was drafted once, perhaps, in the tournament.
It was actually Matu that played it against Gambit in the group stages.
I don't really remember what his item build was, but
Mask of
overall...
Madness.
was
Mask of
it?
Madness SNY, if I remember correctly.
I think that kind of an active build is
10
pretty
seconds
solid.
remaining.
If you want to be that early game fighter, you can
5
also go for
seconds
an
remaining.
item that had so many buffs. That's the Battle Fury, right? If you go for it on Jug, on paper, it works really well right now, at least.
Going Battle Fury on Jug? I'm not a big fan. There's always feels like a better item. Maelstrom, magical damage.
It's because of the recent buffs, that's all. Usually I would agree with you, but because of the recent buffs, I think it's good.
okay. Yeah, I think it's more situational when you're playing against heroes like a Phantom Lancer, any illusion-based hero. And the PA as a response to Jug. We've seen one PA so far in the tournament. A Blur, extremely effective against Jug. You just pop it. You should not be afraid of Omni Slash.
But that's kind of the only thing that was good about the PA, right?
10
Because
seconds remaining.
I remember that game, and basically was hoping for good RNG. Why is that different this time around?
You have different reasons why PA is good here. It's not only versus Jug, you also have that Blink versus the Mars. You have ways of getting out. Also, these two supports on the side of Secret are extremely squishy, so you have targets to jump on and destroy them. You have this Oracle that will be at least saving you, maybe perhaps not healing you because of A, but will be saving you when you go in. And yeah, it is a decent pick, but it has to have a good lane. If it doesn't, it just struggles.
Is there still potential for either squad, actually, for a Magnus to still appear?
5 seconds
Yeah, I was thinking about it. They still don't have a mid laner on Virtus Pro, and no mid laner on Team Secret. They could run Mars on mid if the matchup is good. We've seen Bait playing mid Mars.
I mean, we've even seen Zai play the Ancient Apparition, so they have some curveballs perhaps on Secret, but most likely we're looking at the mid matchup for both teams to be picked up last year.
Both of these teams value that Magnus quite a lot. Like, Magnus would be valuable because of that Empower for Jug or for the PA. So, but overall, when you're playing Magnus right now, you're not thinking only about your own. After you ban Vivo, Magnus isn't really.
And they get the SF. I like it. We've seen SF be amazing in the hands of no one, and I think if they're gonna win this game, they can do it off the back of his Shadow Fiend. I think even if PA might not have a great game, which I think eventually will be fine anyway, Shadow Fiend should be able to buy time for PA to get big.
When they pick Shadow Fiend, usually it's paired up with Anti-Mage, so they have a secured late game, while Shadow Fiend is pushing the towers, invading enemy jungle, just pushing the waves, putting a lot of pressure on enemy cores. It's not going to be that effective against the Jug because he has a Battle Fury. Also, no one loves to build that Eul Scepter, so you can blow people up with it. I don't think that it's going to be a mag game right now since he's against Shadowfin on the mid lane.
Shadowfiend for them is alright here. What concerns me though on the side of Virtus Pro is the fact that usually when you're playing SF or PA, you're pairing them with heroes that buff them up. And right now I see absolutely no buffs on their side. It's only the SF perhaps with the minus armor. And they go with Nisha Morph. Alright, this definitely means that Jug will go for that more of an active build.
Yeah, but I feel this is very greedy from them.
From Team Secret?
Yes, from Secret.
But it is, but at the same time, the other draft is very greedy too when you look at it that way. So.
Okay.
I like Secret draft, I gotta be honest. You have Rubik, you have Morph, so you can use two of those abilities against them.
How
you
many
have Fissure, we have two. Yeah.
And he's up against the Shaker already, you know, the Morph Shaker, even though not as potent as he used to be, still very potent. I guess, yeah, I mean, double Fissures versus one Fissure, who's gonna win?
I love this pairing, Rubik plus Morph, also AA, setting things up from far away. They're a bit limited on the stuns, but Rubik can steal either a Fissure or you steal, like, it's such a good Rubik game. Whether you want to go a path of a healer, stealing stuff from Oracle, or pure damage against the Timbersaw, Stifling Dagger, more slows.
Just stealing that Fissure is so good.
Of course, that's going to be priority.
Yeah, one thing though, this Morphling is a really good pick because of the Shaker, right? Shaker plus SF is really scary on the mid lane, but if you have a hero that can go across that Fissure, if Morphling is mid, which he should be, it's going to be alright for them. Overall, I have a feeling that these offlaners might make or break the game for them.
Okay.
This Mars has to do well, and same goes for Timber.
That is tricky though, because if you're saying it make or break for the offlaners, we've had a lot of criticism for Resolution, so this is his time to shine. We're going to find out if he can, and we're going to find out how Capitalist is going to deal with 3 heroes throwing out the same spell. Let's find out.
Listen, I've got years of play-by-play under my belt. I'm sure I would never make an error mispronouncing something or anything like that. The year's 3020, and there's a Juggernaut pick.
Hey,
Kyle, Juggernaut.
I just talked backstage to somebody who routinely has his ideas from way, way in the future.
Okay.
Owen Odie Pixel Davies.
Oh.
The Magic builds at Juggernaut. Veil, Radiance Maelstrom, Yasha Kaya. What's a Timbersaw to do? You have the extra amplification from the AA. It could happen.
You know, this sounds very similar to another man who has unique ideas on Dota. That would be Jacked, a.k.a. KBBQ, and his support Juggernaut build. Have you heard of that one,
I haven't,
Kyle?
no.
The support Juggernaut build, where you go all of the Blade Fury spin talents. The movement speed one, the DPS one, and you just roam around spinning on people.
Nice. I
So
like that.
We've got some unique ideas on the table from Matumba Man to make Juggernaut work in this meta.
I still think Death Star Luna's iconic for me just because it also made Merlini actually quit Dota forever. Which was when you get Ags on Luna, put it on the relocating IO into the enemy base, and it kills everything. However, I will say, I love the AA pick. I was actually talking with Spartan about this, about, hey, what do you think deals with this first 2 Timber? Because I thought it was too early. It's UAA.
Yeah.
This removes the E from the game effectively. Like you don't have that innate survivability any longer, and then you combine the Juggernaut. This hero might be a bit weak, but traditionally has always been excellent against the Timber, both in the laning phase and throughout the game.
Okay, so you just do a bunch of magic damage on him. You are going to build Maelstrom, so even your Omni Slash is effective later on.
Well, the big thing is when Timber hits 6, for the most part, he's forcing enemy heroes out of lane, right? Juggernaut, a spin ultimate, you're killing Timbersaw.
Right.
Every single time. So it's actually he who's got to be afraid of Jug 6. Plus, if you start off early on, like you're just going to spin. You force like early W skilling from the Timber. You can't play as aggressive. I'd like to see VP try and back lane and don't just try to 2v2 this, but utilize abusive creep mechanics. I really like this ward placed from Secret, very heads up. You know you're playing against a Shaker. We saw this from Baited a lot, where he secures bottom and then just continuously roams around in between these lanes. You can't do that with this high ground ward here. It secures that very vulnerable mid morphling of Nisha.
And see another roaming ward up there in the top that JJ showed us very nicely. So Secret are fully prepared for that kind of...
It's just right. Like, that's what it is. Like, it's just, you can see they understand, look, Nisha's our win condition. It's Shaker with an SF mid. They want to kill our morphling. And they double ward to ensure that's not going to happen. That's just, you know, it's good. This is what you should do. I don't know really how else to put it. No one off to a great start, though. But that is what you should expect with a nuke first SF.
And it's what we've come to expect from No One mid. Solo barely able to get away from YapzOr there. A Rubik Mars lane. Pretty scary, but that's a PA. Another hero that I'm not really that hype on. Why is it good here, Kyle? Well, that's concerning. You had an answer instantly for why Juggernaut was actually fine hero, but it would PA.
I am hard-pressed to say. They picked it after the Jug, right?
Yes.
I've always liked Jug into PA. And I kind of like Morph into PA.
Yeah.
So I like having damage amplification with my PA. They don't have any.
They don't have any. Well, no. Well, they have SF minus armor. No one has. Well, he's made a boo boo. Okay, never mind. We've got Zayas. He's gonna patch things up for him unless YapzOr could, if he gets the telekinesis, toss back a couple hits and Fate Bolt, maybe.
Was it boots early on No One? It looked like that's what he had there. It's the only reason. Nope.
No, he's just
fast.
swaggy Shadow Fiend, man. He moves around real quick.
Interesting, yeah. Off to a good start in the lanes, though. You can see that bottom. I liked what they did where they pushed in that initial wave and Shaker pulls the second and then immediately runs mid, right? Because he has that freedom now. Thing is, Matumba Man, just spin the wave. And now, level 3, you're going to be just okay. And I think the big thing here is, yeah, Resolution's having a game, but unlike traditional matchups, the Jug, when he hits 6, is the one that actually threatens the Timber, not the other way around. Nisha?
Another Fissure. Fast double raised, maybe? No. Nisha already morphing into strength and is out of that precarious position of getting bopped by 2 raises, but it does mean he can't really control the creep wave, and No One continues to stay ahead 13-4 now for him.
Zach looking to make it happen, though. He's got a Fissure active, and there should be 2 raises up on No One as well. Nisha's got to be so careful.
I'm surprised.
I like that play. I like that play.
Okay, yeah, sure.
It didn't work, but you know his head's in the right place.
Yeah.
He's aware of what the game state is, and this is what to expect from Rezo. You don't want to stay 1-to-1 against the Jug. If you're ever in a scenario as an offlaner and the enemy core counters you, think about playing with creep mechanics, because as a Jug, like, what are you supposed to do? Come chase him? Like, it's not going to get you anywhere. And yeah, skills the W as well, so he's not as threatened by the spin.
Solo, pull back in, Contribute doesn't actually land, and Kuman is going to try and maybe commit here on a Zai. YapzOr takes the opportunity to be able to kill the Courier, and Solo went for the nuke there on a Zai. Now he's actually just going to heal up, do some damage to YapzOr, but Kuman is just low to commit anywhere here. Spin out in the bottom lane, Resolution. Jumping away the Timber Chain, and now Nisha's game is potentially recovered by this regen rune, but he is still having a rough...
It's a 0-0 game, Cap, and Secret are already 2,000 gold ahead.
Yeah. But at least they're winning mid.
Yeah. And again, sometimes you'll see Morphs skip their Q. Not often mid, of course, but I like that Nisha is just not even putting a point in W, because it's all about playing around this Fissure and ensuring you're not dying. Because you can see, and this is where, again, I love the warding from Secret, because one, you don't expect it as VP, but two, you know, like, Shaker's trying to make plays mid. That's the game. Whoa!
Nisha just playing a little too cocky there, was trying to dodge that long range raise, and no one was very patient with him. Got a few more hits in, Puppey. Fortunately, the Cold Feet latched on a Resolution. Otherwise, he could have been the second blood in this game.
That's, look, all of a sudden, check out the gold, right? From 2K ahead. Wait. It was Secret that was 2K ahead, right?
When I looked at it, it was 1K. But they were probably just barely 2K ahead.
I just want to make sure,
you're right,
I just want to make sure it wasn't VP that was ahead after that Medusa gaff yet, the previous game.
Don't worry, Kyle. You're wrong very often, but you're not that wrong.
That's good to know.
Good kill for Virtus Pro. Nice rotation there from Zayat. After all, once he left the mid lane, no one was able to get the 1v1 kill, so he's not needed there, it seems. He was able to just keep moving around.
Also, I want to just shout out, I love casting with a home crowd behind me, whether I'm in Ukraine, China, North or South America. Wouldn't matter to me, but you know the crowd is pulling for VP here against the heavy favorites in Secret. And we'll see if that 11th man can help them out.
I'm sure there's 6-minute rune, nothing there. And the raises are stacking up quite a bit, so Nisha is going to have to be careful as a fresh round is there, and it's just doing more and more damage. Zai does manage to snipe Kuman's Courier here in the top lane, and it looks like they're going to pull Solo back into his doom. Kuman looking for the turnaround kill here on YapzOr. Zai's going to try and protect his support, and with that level 6, well, Zai is actually going to be able to block him in. Nice Fissure. YapzOr still has enough room to be able to scoot around the trees. Blink Strike is still up, another dagger, and they will get that kill.
Yeah, you're okay with that, though. You're trading support for support.
Sure.
Zai's still just fine up top, but VP, all 3 lanes doing adequate. Rezo's had a pretty good performance down bottom. I expected him to do a bit worse, but you can see Jug is still free farming, and that's the thing. Rezo's getting farmed, but it's not like when he's playing against these other heroes he can pressure, and that's the big difference here, that Matumbaman just doesn't have to worry about him too much, and he goes for that early Mask of Madness. It's a cool idea, because he will inevitably most likely want that MKB. You can split it into, is it Satanic MKB or Butterfly MKB? I can't remember the two, but either way, it's solid here, and it's just the most cost-efficient item to increase your farm this early on.
And it's another idea of, like, when you're kind of having free farm, just continue to build up on that advantage. Science barely managed to live through that. Nisha committing so heavily with that waveform may end up dying to no one here. No one out of mana, though, for that last raise.
That's just so scary, man. No one just playing this lane so well. I love him on Shadow Fiend, these aggressive heroes. I'd love to see them bring DP back into their arsenal as well. I think that's, he is the best Death Prophet in the world, and that's something I've always felt VP played incredibly around, because it allows no one to dictate the pace of the game. It's the other reason I like him on SF.
Look at that, double raindrops. A great way to deal with Oracle in lane, who has such heavy nuking power. Resolution. Well, if he can't pressure the hero, he'll try and pressure the tower.
And perhaps he can. I may just underrate this Timbersaw hero, as it appears Secret's still just going to play away from him no matter what. But I imagine once AA hits 6, things could change. But oh, wait, that's because
Fissure on a 2. No one going for the TP out because there is no adaptive strike on Nisha. I don't know how he knew there was no adaptive strike just this late into the game, but I guess he just never seen it, so he assumed.
I've heard, I've done enough karaoke to know Bon Jovi's Living on a Prayer by heart. Perhaps no one has the same.
I would love to hear you belt that one out, Kyle.
None of the viewers at home would, so let's just put a lid on that one. Zayak gonna just continue to play this mid lane. Puppey dropping a sentry. He knows there's got to be vision
Wait
around
for
the
it.
area.
Yeah. Wait for him to come into the high ground to try and go for that observe reward, then catch him with the Fissure. Unfortunately, it wasn't a block Fissure. One long-range raise isn't good enough, but no one will catch up to you eventually, Puppey. Always hunting with that Shadow Fiend. No one finds another kill.
Yep. He's gonna go for the Yules build here. Not sure. I think the auto attack build could have been nice here. Just to have something to play around with your Oracle. I'm a bit concerned that their just right-click damage is now all in on this PA, who really is going to have a tough time because you don't have that space you're looking for, because the SF and the Timber, they're going to eat your creep waves way faster than you're able to. I'm curious to see what item choice he's going to go for, whether the Battle Fury is his first item of choice, because I feel like that might be a little too greedy from the VP side.
I will say I think the magic damage build from SF is very good against these heroes, right? Ever since they instituted the Fear, it's actually very good against heroes like Juggernaut and Morphling, who normally have it like an instant way to be able to deal with it if they don't get one shot. But now the Fear will actually make sure that Jug won't be able to get off his spin. He's just going to get triple raised.
That's a good point. I like a lot of stuff so far in this game. I just think VP, they've been hanging in, right? Even that first game, they ended up getting, looked like a stomp at the end of the game. But until that miscue around Roche, they were the ones in control. And thus far, still feels the same. I think VP will definitely be the ones that are able to make the first move here.
And we said at the end of game one, Virtus Pro, they were in it. They just have to clean up their game a bit, and they'll be able to take on Secret just fine. Maybe game two will be a better showing for them, as they have taken that safe lane tower. Once again, they're at a tower advantage, just like last time. They have Resolution is having a much better game than last, where Kumin is feeling a little bit more threatened, not having the free farm game than Naga Siren like he did last time.
Yeah, Rezo, I'd like to see VP finish up farming out those T1 items. They're still, that's the Iron Talon now, but they're still missing one. Secret just found their final one, that Arcane Ring, going towards Puppey. I love picking that up.
Arena time. Oh, he managed to protect himself from the magic damage. Really well played by Solo.
Solo's a hell of an Oracle player. I'll never forget that game at Epicenter. What was it? Not last one, but the one before. That game, he cleansed off the Ravage on his friendly Luna before the Ravage hit him and won his team the team fight. Same with, he did it a W just before the finger that would have killed his Luna in a fight before. This guy is incredible on the hero, and I like VP when they're able to play around save. It just makes it simpler for their cores to play the game. They can focus more on getting aggressive. And
all right, Solo, you've had some sick moves before, but I don't know about this one. He is actually going to pop the ultimate on himself as his team is coming in force to actually protect him. The Echo Slam actually goes down, doesn't actually catch any heroes in the stun, though. Now the turnaround Ice Blast was a huge amount of damage, but with the SF ultimate, they managed to do a decent amount. The two cores, though, these are all important to be able to catch Nista. He is into the trees, waveforms out, they have no stuns. He's fine. Sadly, as many explosions as there were out there, none of the important cores on either side died.
Yep, and that's what happens when both teams clear out the enemy's ability to stun. Yeah, and you look at Nisha rushing that E-Blade, can expect that that'll be gunning for the Oracle in almost all occasions. That's really the name of this game here. Secret, kill the enemy Oracle. VP, kill these squishy backliners, the Rubik and the AA. And I'm still remaining to be convinced about the Jug. I said I liked it, still do as a concept. The problem is, and we've spoken about this a lot with power creep as such a mechanic in Dota, it just feels like Jug might not be a good enough hero anymore, regardless of how good it feels in the game. Top of the net worth, though, and I'm not going to count my top man out by any means. It's just...
Well, it's unsurprising to me, Kyle, that you would be a man who listens to his feelings instead of his head.
You calling me a Sith?
Of course, you bring it back to Star Wars. Anything that can go back to Star Wars.
Look at what I'm wearing, all right? My last name might be Palpatine, still.
You do kind of look like
I can be a Skywalker if I want to be.
that waste goes. We've got the mid-tier 1 tower that's under assault. This is Timbersaw prime territory right here. He is 15 minutes into the game, approximately. Feeling pretty good. He's got his maxed out ultimate. He doesn't care about any physical damage, so he's going to go and punch a tower. It's going to be slow. It's going to basically chop it down piece by piece, but Secret don't really have that much to really deal with him right now.
Nisha's bringing me back to 8th grade. That anxiety's kicking in as he just continuously drops down to 1 HP. Like way too close to enemy heroes. He already got first blooded.
Oh, Regent picked up by Nisha.
Yeah, think about how different this game is if Nisha doesn't literally just die on high ground to give away first blood to no one. He's tied in net worth, but he'd have an edge otherwise, and that's his 1 death in the game.
Zayats, you've been spotted by a range creep, buddy. Nice. Get his healing ward. 75 gold. It's a little bit closer to your Blink Dagger. They're going to try and go for him now. Resolution. He's going to be pinned against the wall with the Ice Blast, and there it is. They finally execute a combination that's going to punish Resolution and his Strongman Syndrome. That was very heavy there.
And that's the thing. This isn't the typical Timber game where you can just play with Reckless Abandon, right? If you get caught out by a stun AA Blast, you will die against the Secret lineup, and that just gives away mid-tower.
Maybe they could have done it if Solo was playing a little bit closer to him, but sadly not the case there. Meanwhile, a hero that can play with Reckless Abandon is our Juggernaut, because there is no BKB Piercing Disable here.
A very good point, Kat, and there won't be any for the duration of this game. It will be a Battle Fury build on the PA, but that means that this Virtus Pro timing, it feels like they're strong, right? Your SF is huge, he's got the Yules, your Timbersaw's ahead, but because of this Phantom Assassin, they're taking their foot off the gas pedal instead of trying to get things going. They've yet to even really threaten this mid-tier 1.
Spin to win. Matumba Man once again dealing with any pressure, just entirely solo, while the rest of his team moves around the map taking objectives. But Virtus Pro, I think they learned from that little bit of blunder they made earlier. They say this mid tower is very important. We're going to try and even things out here. Nice Blast going to come in. TP out from Secret. Nisha. That's a sneaky little TP. I'm not even sure if you could see that part from VP's perspective, but it's Resolution who's on the front lines, and without the Ice Blast, they can't really do much about him.
Yeah, but I love this. Like, Matoma just...
Oh, they actually get the Eul Scepter onto Zai. Hit him with the Fear. Now try and double nuke him down. They actually missed some of it, but as he goes into the trees, not hit by the Spear, Resolution should be able to finish him off. Bumped by the shields. He tries to go for Nisha. Nisha actually turning into a Shadow Fiend and trying to get some raises out. Meanwhile, Omni Slash onto Zai. It's already executing both the supports. No one's going to go for a TP. Way hit by the Ice Blast, but he should live, I believe, as he was at half health.
Wow.
No problem. Resolution also dying here. Virtus Pro, you said, you know, it seems like a point where they should feel strong, and Virtus Pro agreed with you.
This is your issue right here, Kat. The game's 4-on-5, so really, is that a fight you're ever going to be able to win as Virtus Pro? You killed Zai, but to your point, that's the least important core by far on the side of Secret. Nisha takes over the Shadow Fiend, and just now you effectively are no one. You have all the nukes, and Rubik has a Chakram. Like, you have way too much firepower. Aether Lens already up on the Rubik, and keep in mind, this is Yapzor. He's playing against an Earthshaker.
Yeah.
This is going to get scary for VP if he ever gets that steal off, and really just this Chakram is all about, you're going to use it. What? Oh, what? He went for the, he tried to get the Fissure. Maybe, you never know if he, good Earthshaker discipline, you never walk around ever after casting Fissure. You never know when you might get ganked. So good job there to ensure he is spamming W off cooldown.
But yeah, as we saw, it's not just the Fissure, right? Like, Rubik can be pretty good versus Timbersaw if he steals the right spells. Chakram being one of the best, that pure damage. Very effective.
And you've got the Jug. Makes Roshan easy. You can tank it. It might take a little while, but one of the tool rules of Roshan is that you can always look to attempt it if you can ensure that you're at full HP at all times. Healing Ward guarantees it. Plus, you've got an AA. I mean, this choke point fight for VP is nigh impossible, especially when you have a Timbersaw. There's just not enough trees to reliably engage around this pit. Now it's an Aegis.
They may not do this fast enough. They're trying to finish off the mid tower and back up, but this fast smoke from Secret may be able to catch somebody on the way out. They're cutting through. Are they going to go up through the triangle? They will. Zai's going to lead the way. It would have been landed them right into the VP heroes where they were actually split apart, but disciplined Secret.
It's so cool. They remove VP's ability to threaten mid as they cut the wave. They have a creep wave top, so they say, look, we don't want to chase them onto our side of the map.
Sure.
It's a sucker's play because they'll just get out of it. We're going to waste time, and we'll end up pushing in a less valuable, we'll be playing in a less valuable area of the map. Instead, just straight towards top, VP, you've got to catch that wave middle, so you're not going to be able to deal with this. And if I'm Secret, I might even think about going tier 3. At least force them back into base like we saw in game 1.
They're going to do just that, Kyle. They know their
one's
tier
here.
2 is under threat right now. They know that Virtus Pro want to be able to commit to that. Timbersaw, he's going to TP in. He does have his full up charges, or at least 15 of them, but the tier 3 is already dead. He's been speared now to the melee barracks. Nisha putting in the damage, putting in the work, takes a lot of damage from both the Timbersaw as well as the Oracle, threatening his life. Could they actually pop him? They will. They take away that Aegis. That's a good start. Now, they need the follow-up for life number 2, and it looks like Virtus Pro aren't really going to go for it because they've got Kuman, who's still farming.
Yep.
He actually has confidence in his allies to push his Secret back.
Well, he really just isn't a contributing factor.
Yeah.
It's like getting into a bar fight and your 7-year-old brother wants to get engaged. He needs time to come online before he's going to be of any use. He needs that BKB. And 20
so you're
minutes.
saying we just have to wait another 10 years and then Kuman will be ready to go?
Well, but it's Dota time moves a lot faster
Oh,
because
okay.
of weird time-space continuum stuff. So in reality, it's more about like 4 or 5 minutes from now.
Okay, so this is, you're saying that Dota acquires on that planet Interstellar?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, 20 minutes is here. And Secret have a lot of vision. Holy crap, look at that mini-map, man. They have lined it all up from this top jungle area into the mid, into that mid tier 2. They obviously are just looking to be able to control mid and top and just take pretty much like 2/3 of the map away from VP.
Yeah. I will say, though, this dynamic changes a little once the BKB is up on PA, just because the supports are suddenly threatened. If you check out the Rubik and the AA, they don't really have that defensive item up yet, right? Like, literally nothing. You hop on top of Yapsor or onto Puppey, like, they're just dead. There's no force staffs up. There's no Glimmer. That's when the survivability changes a bit. Oh, my God, he went Deso.
Yeah.
He went Deso instead of BKB.
Well,
Right, hey,
you know, I appreciate the balls to be able to say, like, yeah, they're hitting my tier 3, but I'm not going to get a BKB.
If you see that as Secret, you just go here, don't you? I mean, they lost the Aegis. Otherwise, this would be a much easier push. But they're still significantly stronger in terms of a 5-on-5. You got to be careful if you're VP.
By the way, I think he's still not going to go BKB. I think he's going to go the Basher build next to try and threaten Matumba Man. I don't know. No, he's got to queue it up now.
Yeah. I mean,
okay,
look,
that would be wild.
Here's the thing. It's a gamble. It's a gamble. If you get the BKB before that decisive fight, then the Deso is certainly worth. It's just a matter of what Secret look to do, knowing that they're at that advantage. And I just feel like them seeing that, they might look to press here. However, they also have the Morphling, got a Jug,
Yeah,
both
there's no
quite
need to
farm.
rush it, right?
Yeah. It's one of those games where it really just comes down to what the teams are feeling, and it can really go both ways for both sides. I think that both VP and Secret have reason to believe they will win in the late game, and it's just going to be decided by play, which I like, because I feel like a lot of games nowadays are just straight up decided by draft.
Yeah.
And you can sort of see the writing on the wall at all times. Oh, cool, man. If he leaves him there, that's very bad for our boy.
Another tier 2 down. Secret, you know, despite the fact they're controlling 2/3 of the map, right? They've got 2 lanes controlled. They've got the jungle. They've got a lot more towers than VP. They're only about up by 2K net worth.
Yeah.
It's not that much.
The blink is up on Shaker.
Yep.
Maxed out Aftershock. So this is quite nice for VP. You got to be cautious as Secret, because it's not the same as that previous game, right? Where they just had this Medusa Bristle. Yeah, use your spells on us. Go for it.
Sure.
Jug and Morph are elusive, mobility-based. You pop them before they get the spin, before the Strength Morph. Like, they just pop, especially with the blink on the SF, because to your point, you follow up on the combo and get the AoE Fear. That's so much lockdown. You're going to find that kill. And there's Kuman just straight up destroys the Rubik. And he went for the bots build, too. So that's going to be something Yapsor is susceptible to for the rest of this game.
Right. I like I think that play is really important because it meant that Secret was always defending bottom lane without having to commit a core. Once you have established that threat, though, now Secret, they're probably not going to do that again, right? Now it's going to have to be someone else who goes to the bottom lane. Oh, jump on through. Does not get hit by that. No one's actually going to go for the fear play onto the Morphling, the follow-up Fissure. They are going to be able to chain this stun. Enough for the Echo Slam, and they got him. Nisha dead with a killing spree, being given up to Resolution.
That crowd likes that one. With Rubik dead, VP look to get aggressive, and that's the advantage. This Blink Shaker, Blink SF, they have so much threat. And sure, PA can't necessarily commit in a hard 5-on-5, but he does so much damage, and he's so mobile. Nice job by Zai, clears out that top range racks.
Yeah, he needed to actually spear up that SF too, otherwise he would have been caught by the Blink. You'll still may be caught by Zayat. They can't quite find him though. They're looking into the trees, but Zai has kept on pushing. And the chants have begun. Home crowd finally feeling it. Cheering for Virtus Pro.
That's the first one we've heard this series, Cap, and that should demonstrate how much faith they had in their boys in that previous game. I think the Roche fight really took the air out of the room, but 24-22 into this game, and they're starting to feel it. Only 9-8 though, a very low scoring game when you consider the aggressiveness that these two teams are renowned for.
Well, now, Kyle, I have to say, I saw a League of Legends game recently. It was 23 minutes in with 0 kills, so it could be worse, you know? In the Twilight Zone, we might have been filling for full 30 minutes before something happened. A little bit of Chakram action. Scotty almost done for Nisha, so that's going to be one of those big upgrades, but I'm not sure if it's going to be able to compete with this burst damage that comes from PA Earthshaker.
Yeah, your point. The disadvantage for VP was they were forced to play 4-on-5, but you know, Kuman going for that incredibly greedy build. It's paying off now. Battle Fury, Deso, BKB. Level 20 upcoming. This is when this Phantom Assassin starts to get real spooky. And again, it's really effective here just because both supports of Secret are very susceptible. PA is super effective against both.
Forgive me, what was the talent for PA? Was it the minus armor still that you have? The corruption? Okay. Yeah. So that's just a lot more burst damage, and then maybe do you still go the triple dagger?
Did the SF go for the minus armor aura too? Well, he probably will, right? The that's 25, but I thought maybe he'd go for the presence affects buildings, because that plus the Deso plus the corruption, you just shred through structures, but I think the move speed's just too valuable.
You know, it'd be really hype for VP. Orb of Destruction.
That would be very
we'll have
nice.
to keep an eye on those tier 3 items, see what happens. A basher from Matumba Man, who's going to be following Kuman's lead on trying to get some BKB piercing disables.
Yes, I think Matumba Man's played a good game, but look at he's almost 3,000 behind the PA.
Yeah.
And I just don't feel like Jug is gonna be strong in these fights. You think about it, just he's gonna need a really good Omni Slash. That's kind of been what Jugs will live and die on, is just how do these bounces go down, because you know no one could Yules himself. The PA could potentially blur leap away. Timbersaw will just tank through it. Yules as well.
Oracle save as well. If you just Omni Slash just onto one person, then that's an easy save for Oracle.
Yeah, I like that. He saw a enemy hero and immediately got scared.
Okay, spears him in with a cold feed on him as well. That's going to be a chain stun unless he can get off the Yules, which he does in time. That means also the pipe's going to go off. They're going to go for the ultimate onto Zai, trying to blow him up immediately while the Echo Slam in the backline with Kuman. Oh, lordy! He just ripped him apart. Nisha, he's still going for that SF with the BKB fading, but Kuman is on his trail. He wants him. He does manage to turn into a PA, jumping to his ally and Puppey. Now waveforming a little bit farther backwards. The SF's ultimate stolen by Absor actually helps get the kill onto no one. Now they turn back for revenge. Science is dead. Kuman on the run, an E-Blade shotgun to the face with a telekinesis holding him there. Can he jump over to Solo? He can't. He's dead.
Got a little too aggressive there. Oh, VP bit off a bit more than they could chew. I think they're going to lose 5. And Roshan.
That is a team wipe. Fortunately for VP, Roshan not up just yet.
That feels like some deja vu, perhaps, Cap.
Yeah.
That one fight VP take doesn't go their way, and suddenly they're up against the wall. Now Yapsor, he's got that Ghost Scepter. He's no longer immediately threatened by that PA.
You've been grinding it out for 27 minutes, and you finally felt like, guys, we're beating Secret right now. You just make one mistake. One team fight that goes a little bit awkward, but Secret punish you so much with that.
I think the buyback, no, that came out, was the AA Blast because of the buyback? I don't believe so. I think he just bought back to continue the aggression, but either way,
Problem.
you're just not in a good position to continue chasing there. Once you've blown the Echo and the ultimate from the Shadow Fiend, those are your tools. The BKB PA and these big ultimates. Once those are down, Secret will dominate fights. You've got to get a critical advantage and then use those things and then get the hell out of there.
They're taking this so quickly that Virtus Pro, they're in the area, but not going to be there in time. Aegis and Cheese. 2 teams. Secret. Oh, grab that orb. Solo. The chosen one. He's going to bring the orb back to Kuman, and now they've got minus armor on minus armor.
Yeah, what is that? He talented for it as well, right? So it's 5 plus 7 plus 4. What is that, Cap?
9, 16. 16.
Carry the one? Yeah, you're right.
16.
Plus
it's
the 7 from the Shadow Fiend. So significant amounts of minus armor. Should expect somebody on Secret.
What is that, Kyle?
I lost
plus
track of
7.
numbers too. Oh, God. Where's the cost when you need him?
No, Lacoste, where's the notebook? Oh God, Zayas is dead. He's been shotgunned. Now Kuman, oh, he gets off his BKB. Does he have a blur? Does he have a blink? Can he get away from this Omni Slash? He can for the time being, but now no one in the pot of saving Kuman is now going to be caught. Zai, targeted by Kuman, but he knows he can't commit that one. No one does manage to get off the ultimate, though. He actually turns around on both of them. Matamba Man activates the cheese, though. He's going to be okay with an Aegis onto Nisha. He will come back and kill Zayas again. That's a dieback for him and a buyback from Solo.
It's the only hero that couldn't die, Cap.
And they also use their ultimate from SF. They use their BKB on the PA. Secret, they know they can punish this timing. They go for it there. Matamba Man a little bit scared of these daggers. You gotta be careful. Waveform away, a tier 3 lost. Okay, as long as you don't lose any barracks here, this is not the end of the world for VP.
Does someone have an Orchid on the side of Secret?
Yeah. I don't know who. Oh, they have the Mindbreaker. That's what it is.
Okay,
that's the silence.
I'm just like, what's going on here? I thought maybe Matamba Man already had finished the Bloodthorn, but nope. Just that very effective tier 3 item. And as you can check out everything on your screen, you'll see that, again, it feels like Secret just with that edge in both the utility and the team fight. Ooh, Kuman.
KB forced right away, but you pointed this out. Morphling's always going to be going for Solo. Solo was ready for it. The Ice Blast isn't actually going to land, though. VP dodging through, but Resolution actually committing here. It's going to be silenced up by that Mindbreaker. He wanted to go for the backline. Both sides do, right? Both sides had these heroes that just want to jump forward and kill a 4 or 5.
This is the timing now for Secret. You've got both enemy supports with no buyback for over 6 minutes. One pick off on the Shaker or Oracle opens up the base for you. You've got Blink up on Zai. The initiation and the reach from Secret is nuts, especially with that Blink on Rubik to boot. Satanic now on the Jug, so bursting him down is going to be nigh impossible, especially because I don't believe you even have a silence mechanic yet. So if you don't 100-0 stun lock this Jug, he is not going to die. You get ult off plus Satanic, you're full health at the end of it.
Lotus Sword being built by the Timbersaw could come in really clutch against. Both these cores have like some big single target spells that they use, so. Other than that, let's see, Manta for the PA. He already has, does he have Basher yet on the PA?
Well, no,
he doesn't.
Hey, know it.
He does manage to get the combination here, quickly killing YapzOr, no problem.
Yeah, I love this build later in the game as SF. That 25 talent, the massive CDR. This build goes ham. You have all these active items, specifically that Hex.
Yeah.
Blink Hex and have BKB, even when it goes all the way down to 5 seconds, the cooldown on it is like 30 or less. It's unbelievable. And suddenly, you'll have the ability to make plays like that all the time, not with this huge 70 to 100 second window in between plays.
I mean, another point would be that he doesn't even have the CDR, right? But by the time, this late into the game, by the time YapzOr is back up, his ultimate's like, what, another 30 seconds? Like, that's, you can always use it just for a one-off kill from here on out.
The thing is, at a point, you're going to need to get that kill and go base, potentially into buybacks, and you're very susceptible to being bought out on when you don't have your spells, and that's what I'd be concerned about. The Hex is huge. We talked about it. How do you kill this Jug 100-0? Well, that Sheepstick will certainly help out. And more importantly, it's nice. It's just so much more pleasant to play Dota when you have one of your cores as the primary initiator, because your DPS and that initial lockdown is there immediately, and then your supports can follow up. Makes it a lot easier to go back to position.
Kumin leading the way with the blur. His smoke is broken, but they still don't have the information that they're being hunted right now. Nisha, wave forming down to the low ground, has managed to get away from all this. And Secret probably have a strong idea by now. It's been so long since anybody has shown on the map. No one's gonna finally reveal himself in the bottom lane, trying to finish off his site device, while the rest of VP hold this high ground. You see teams basically are going to be doing this constantly throughout the late game, establishing an area of the map that they just are going to play that high ground area and farming all the little areas around it, hoping that the enemy team will clash into them. But neither team wants to give up that advantage, so both of them just kind of stay split. And
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
VP. I mean, who really has the onus to make the first play here?
I think it's more about making the right play than the first play. You can see, I like what Matumbaman's doing. It's the little things, right? He drags the mid creep wave, that helps defend his tier 2, but he also takes it to the top. Rune camps there for a second, grabs the arcane, backs away. Same thing from Nisha here, because you know, as VP, even if you look at, we have map packs, so we can see that there's really no one behind these cores if VP were to make a play. But that high ground area in your own jungle, you don't know who the hell is there as a VP, so you can't make any sort of play once Secret position themselves further upwards. Right. It's a really nice way of sort of deceiving Virtus Pro into just abandoning that mid wave. You can even see they're all now on their own side of the map because they were having 2 lanes pushed, whereas Secret only had that one.
And Secret has a pretty good idea of how many heroes are up there too, because they have an aggressive ward inside of the Dire base.
It's a really nice ward at this phase of the game. It's all about placing vision where the enemy doesn't expect it. You just want to know, anytime you get a read on where one of VP's heroes are, you either can beeline for that location as 5 or to the other end of the map and hope you catch somebody sleeping while their teammates are not yet in position. Manta finished on the PA. Quite good.
Why Manta?
Yeah. You can juke the silence and the E-Blade. I think that's quite important because otherwise, as soon as your BKB fades, you just get all in on and you die.
Okay, here's the initiation on his eye. They're going to follow it up with the Fissure as well as the side device. They're going to go for it with Kumin, committing for the kill. And Zai actually living just long enough to get off a God's Rebuke, but instantly buying back afterwards. Secret knew that was going to be the play the entire time. They were going to be buying back on Zai. And I love the fact that VP didn't overcommit.
They knew it. It was a kill and out. And they didn't even use a BKB. That's huge.
They have everything left. They didn't even use the SF ultimate. Now they're going to have the opportunity to jump in again. Going from Matumbaman, but he does manage to get off the spin. Now, an Earthshaker who's been caught. Solo forced to use his ultimate to be able to buy out that Earthshaker. He's going to TP away, giving up his 5 positions life, though. Resolution trying to get out, but a telekinesis is going to be able to pull him back into his doom. No, Lotus Orb, Eul Scepter, a Timber Chain away. Anywhere? No, he's speared to the trees and dead.
Right there, you can see why Status Resist was removed from Strength way back when, because it became impossible to properly time your stuns. Well, Satanic, sure, it costs a lot, but it provides that same utility where it's just near impossible because all your muscle memory is wrong. And they just don't overlap stuns, immediate spin. Well, this fight's lost. VP've got to cut their losses and run, and there's still no Oracle buyback for a minute. This will be most likely at least 1 Rax.
SNY and Satanic, that means that Virtus Pro may have just made that one critical error off of just not reading the items enough. Matumbaman baiting that very nicely is now opened up for a push onto the mid lane of Barracks, and VP are left with 1 fight.
And it just further demonstrates Secret's understanding. No buyback on Zai. Well, let's bait Matumbaman. He's also got the Satanic, and he had a buyback in the event VP were able to pull that 100-0 off again. So even though that goes well for Secret, in the event VP were to successfully make that fight happen, it still wouldn't have created that decisive advantage to go get a Rax like Secret just did.
Right. Shiva's up next for the Timbersaw. Virtus Pro just gonna farm. But if they just keep on farming, giving up a 3rd Roshan when you're 2 racks down like this, I'm not sure if they could survive through another Aegis Cheese, but they may just have to.
And somebody's got to give our boy No One a neutral item. It is far too late in the game to be walking around with that slot empty.
He's got to have something on the way, right? weird.
What's left in the shop? Go figure.
Well, they're going to smoke up, push out. And they're going to go for it without the neutral item. But the Aegis Cheese and Refresher have already been taken.
I think I'd take that Nether Shawl or the... Whatever the, what was that thing? The Quiver, right? You have so, like, it's all about bursting a hero, right? That's a hell of a lot of plus magic damage.
Soon you're going to have the CDR talent as well, which should impact the Quiver.
I believe it does.
Yeah.
I don't see why it wouldn't.
Say confidently, yes, it does.
As long as you say it with
gonna believe.
confidence, it most likely won't be Googled, which means you won't be proven wrong. God, imagine trying to, like, win arguments before Google. You know, hey, the sky's blue because of, I don't know, you make something up. How do I prove you wrong?
I mean, you would be governor by now. The way you confidently state things.
Maybe even senator. You're onto something. Maybe time travel. We'll see. Let's focus on this game. Cast range, that's huge for no one. You can see he's off from the target. With that telescope, he can now play far, far into the back.
Hey, Lacoste, did you ever get the math formula for us? 16 plus 7? Did you ever figure that one out for Kyle? Thank you, Lacoste. Thanks to our mathematician on the side. Apparently, the answer is 23. Thank you, Lacoste. Back into the game. It's 18-15, 39 minutes in. A 7,000 net worth lead for Team Secret, and they are on the hunt for that final lane of barracks. Sure, there's a melee barracks at top lane, but we're going to ignore that and say this is the final lane of barracks, the final big push from Team Secret. The final potential hold for VP, especially if they get caught out by Kuman. Oh, the spear actually landed onto an illusion instead of the real one. SF does manage to get off his ultimate, fearing back a lot of these heroes. Now he's going to be saved by Solo. Both the cores low, but not dead yet anyway. As Nisha, he's going to jump forward. Throws out just an adaptive strike on a Solo as they now try and chip away at this tier 3 against the backdoor protection. Doesn't matter. They get it anyway. That lane of barracks now exposed. No one coming forward with the scythe, doing a lot of damage. A good spear comes out. The Echo Slam goes on. They control onto Matumba, but not enough. The status resistance once again coming in clutch, and Nisha is able to turn around, activating his BKB. Trying to go for no one at first, then focusing on the barracks. Oh, Kuman went in though. Kuman, he now needs to get out, but he's been speared to the barracks that they're now going to try and finish off. But there's going to be buyback out. No one being dealt with by Nisha. The Scotty is going to be enough. Just right click, right click, right click. He's now dead. More buybacks flooding in from VP, but they're left in a 4 versus 5. Only one building remains, and that's that top melee barracks. And Secret, they're gunning for it right now. Virtus Pro, they're going to have to engage here. They just cannot afford Secret to go for that all-in. Kuman tries to jump forward, but he doesn't have his BKB. Solo's going to try and bait him out. The Lotus Orb actually bouncing back that Omni Slash. Save Kuman's life. He turns around, just bops AA in the head. Now he focused on Matumba Man, but it's Nisha who's the real threat, and that's why he goes for him. Managed to get the bash, takes away his Aegis. What about round 2, though? Do they have the disables to be able to control up Nisha? They do manage to get that bash. Meanwhile, Matumba Man's going for the Megas. They will be able to finish off Nisha for one. Zai, he puts out the arena, jump over to the other side, but what about Matumba Man? He's got the Megas in hand. Virtus Pro, they defend their base, but they're gonna have to fight up against Megas. If they can get enough kills off of this, though, maybe they could force some buybacks. They kill Matumba Man. Now what, Kyle? Do you have to just go all in mid?
You just don't have the building damage nor the time to get that done. VP, just so difficult. Like, they've played even with Secret, but at the end of the day, Secret has secured every single Roshan. Juggernaut, you did great there. They saved their cores in that initial engagement, right? Jug uses his Satanic, his Healing Ward, his Omni Slash, but he had Refresher Shard. Morphling has an Aegis and a Cheese. You're playing against like 8 to 9 heroes worth of resources, and it's just so tough to win that sort of fight. Kuman, oh, hang on. Oh, that was an illusion. I thought for sure that was real for a second.
That was the Illusionist Cape, I believe, picked up by the Rubik, alongside an Illusion Rune, maybe.
And, oh, double Lincolns. This is really cool. You got one on the Morph, one on the Rubik now. So all of a sudden, initiation from that Shadow Fiend. Remember how you talked about that could be VP's window into winning this game? Not a possibility anymore. And to your point, the other target is Zai, not relevant to the damage output of Secret's lineup, or the Satanic status resistant Juggernaut.
The Illusionist Cape, it keeps on baiting them. He tries to jump forward. Kyle, you said they didn't have enough time, and you're right. There's just 10 seconds left until the cores are back up. They can get a mid lane of barracks. That doesn't matter because they're facing up against Megas. VP are unable to force the buyback out of Secret.
To be fair, they have plenty of wave clear. The concern is just that Secret, because the way their draft can hit and run, like you have a Morphling, he went for that waveform talent, so he's got 2 charges. Ooh, I like this. They're showing Timber, but they're camping the high ground. Does Secret have a read? Oh, I think they saw him.
Yeah, the bottom lane of Barracks, and
This
they
ward,
did
that
see him,
ward
yeah.
above as well. That's so sick.
Yeah, they know exactly what's going on here. Yeah, Kuman. Once again, revealing himself on that ward. They're still going to try and jump forward here, baiting up Atomic Man once again, no! This time around, the status resistance will not work, but maybe it opens up for Nisha to be able to go for it. Kuman's going to be saved by Solo. Tries to jump on a Nisha, but Nisha jumps away with a waveform. Now he's going to turn into a PA and follow Kuman to his potential death. Waveform's over him. Kuman low on health, and he's done. No buyback from him. GG is called. Secret 2-0 VP and head to the grand final.
Team Secret victory. Love it. You know, they composed themselves. They had a read. Instead of just, panicking, 10 seconds, they just send Matumba Man up to his death.
Yep.
Who cares? You've got buyback. We can trust Nisha to carry this fight for us. Again, it was probably 99.8% theirs at that point, but still, no risks taken. A really clean game from Secret. Well played by Virtus Pro. This was a 2-0, but it felt a hell of a lot closer than the scoreboard might show. It just came down to a bunch of different Roche fights, and in general, just Secret having better team play, better composure, and just more reading, just reads around the map.
I mean, VP made that game this close with 0 Roshans.
Yeah.
They lost all 3 Roshans to Team Secret. That says a lot about how this game 2 could have been different in a different timeline, but no. Secret in the grand finals. Virtus Pro putting up a good fight for sure, and it feels like they are just getting better and better, and maybe they'll learn from this experience.
Yeah, we got such a packed house in here. We've had people on the stairs, standing room only. We had to set up televisions around the arena for those that couldn't fit inside, and I expect it'll be no different tomorrow. We have a hell of a day lined up. VP, Nigma, Secret, 3 of the best 5 teams in Dota over the last 5 years. It's been fireworks.
Judging from Nigma's performance so far through the lower bracket and Virtus Pro's performance here in the Secret, do you have any early guesses as to that lower bracket final?
I think a lot of it's just going to come down to draft at the end of the day, but I think at peak performance, it'll be very, very close. I think arguably the closest we've seen 2 teams, I mean, the closest series in comparison to today. I honestly don't know. I'm just hyped because I love watching good Dota, and a championship Sunday is always fun for me.
All right, well, the end of our penultimate day is here. Virtus Pro, they put up a good fight, but it's Team Secret who will be the raid boss at the end of the bracket.
Yeah, thank you so much, Cap and Kyle. We talked about this series, of course, at length, and one of the main things we said, Lacoste, you said it most of all, if you make a mistake against Secret, they're going to punish you harder than any other team in this competition, and that's what kind of happened this second game.
The shot calling, I think, is the difference between these 2 teams. What they need to do when they're playing from behind, how to itemize, and Roche. This is the most important thing, I would say. Team Secret always plays around the Roche pit. They got 3 in this game, and you can't really afford to give them 3 Roshans.
Yeah, I completely agree with